If you have health insurance, you might be able to see a personal dietitian for $0 out of pocket. Nourish connects you with a dietitian that fits your needs, covered by your insurance. Nourish accepts hundreds of insurance plans, and 94% of patients pay $0 out of pocket. Meet with your dietitian online and message them anytime through the Nourish app. With hundreds of 5-star reviews from real patients, you know you're in good hands. Find your dietitian at usenourish.com. That's usenourish.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Ready to explore Europe the striped way? Then fly with Condor Airlines. With nonstop flights to Frankfurt, Germany, there are great connection options to several cities. Whether it's the romantic streets of Paris or the stunning beaches of Barcelona, Condor will start your vacation by offering comfortable and spacious cabins. Fly the striped way. Visit condor.com today.
Hey, anyone know what channel the game's on? We know. Download the Sports on What app today and always know how to watch the game. Satellite, cable, or streaming. Sports on What knows the channel the game is on, and you can too. Subscribe today to start your 7-day free trial. Sports on What? We know.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, on yesterday's award-winning show, we asked a random question about what you've stolen from a bar or restaurant. And what we discovered is that a bunch of you are kleptos. A lot of people have stolen a lot of things from a lot of bars and restaurants. And for whatever reason, Red Robin seemed to be the place that people stole the most things from. Now, the story that inspired that question in the first place, it comes to us from New England, where a woman walked into a restaurant bathroom and walked out with the bathroom sink. She stole the entire sink. But hey, why not? Because people will steal pretty much anything if it can be stolen. In Colorado, authorities are on the hunt for 3 suspects after they stole 2 bulldog puppies from a pet store in broad daylight. And to be fair, the bulldogs, they're worth $4,000 each. Or if you're a bulldog owner, that's about 1/20th of the eventual vet bills that you'll be paying. Now, I guess animals are all the rage. In Russia, a dwarf, yes, a dwarf, keeps sneaking into a zoo to steal animals. He stole a kangaroo, and he stole a crocodile, but most recently, he stole 2 wallabies. And believe it or not, Mike, some of those redneck wallabies. Oh, really? Very specifically, yes. And in France.
Hell yeah.
And in France, a couple of thieves, now they found themselves in quite the conundrum. You see, they stole the guy's wallet, and they used his credit card to buy, among other things, a lottery ticket. Well, as luck would have it, the ticket hit for over $500,000. The problem is, if they come forward to claim the prize, they'll also be arrested. But hey, we've all got problems. So today we're talking about theft, specifically what you have stolen. And today's question, brought to you by our friends at Advanced Hair Restoration, is big, small, or petty? Tell us one thing you've stolen in your lifetime.
To be a part of the big show, call 206-803-ROCK. Like KISW on Facebook, follow us on X and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
All of it, tell us away we go. Welcome to season 20, episode number 4,268. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. Tara Daly's coming back from the Daily Mix Morning Show. We're going to sit and spin the top 10 glam metal songs of all times in my lifetime. This would be what I would consider the golden age of MTV. Not only in the metal world, but in the R&B world, grunge even, to some extent, when they came and kicked those guys to the road. Either way, we're going glam metal today. So, Mike, you're going to play a snippet of the tune, not the hook, but we're going to see if we can figure out the artist and the name of the tune from the short snippet that you're playing.
Correct. You guys know these songs too well, so I can't play you the hook. I got to play you guys a little something challenging.
All right.
I'm going to say that either be it on cassette, CD, most of those, I probably had a copy of each one of these albums at one point in time in my life. So
I'm sure I had a few. I did not love the quote-unquote glam metal phase when it was going on. I mean, some of the songs were catchy, right? No doubt about it. But I didn't know if I wanted to invest like in an album from the band.
It was so fun, though, man.
A lot of it was fun, and I got that. And like your point with MTV, they were very visual, and sometimes you could like Slaughter, right? All By Night, Sleep All Day, or whatever the hell they say. Terrible song. I understand the fun of it, but I also knew like I will never buy their album. This is somewhat catchy. You can have fun with it, but seeing them kind of understanding what they're doing, like
so you don't want to
I
fly
knew
to the
better.
Angels.
I absolutely do not, man. Somehow you're like, I don't need to hear 10 more songs from this band.
Top 10 glam metal songs of all time, coming up at 4:30. And our question today, big, small, or petty, tell us one thing that you've stolen in your lifetime. Now, yesterday on the program, we got into a conversation about things that we have stolen from restaurants and bars.
And that was unbelievable, just watching the text just explode.
And look, you realize in life, whether you are, no one's... I'm sure there are kleptomaniacs out there, but I mean, that's not what we're talking about today. Yes, you might have gone through a phase at some point in time, but it seems like in your lifetime, everyone has stolen something from somewhere, whether they were too young to realize that it was the wrong thing to do and learned the lesson of that's not okay.
At what age are you still too young to know that you have stolen something?
You've taken it.
I mean, like 2 years old, I go like, okay, right, maybe you don't quite piece it together. But like by 4 years old, you know what I mean? You might not have malicious intent, but you know that you're stealing.
I'll say you know at a store.
I'll say 8 years old.
If a kid's stealing from each other, they might lie about it. But they know if they're stealing from a store.
Yeah, 6, 7, 8. I think you're getting into
you definitely know about it.
But when you're an adult and you start taking things off the table at a restaurant or bar, you know better. So, that's why we say
also
today,
know how.
Big, small, or petty. It does not matter the level of your crime and what exactly you have taken. It's just the fact that you took something that you were not supposed to do. Mm-hmm. So we start with this story, and they say it was not your typical smash and grab burglary, and the booty was precious. A toilet worth more than its weight in gold. The one-of-a-kind 18-karat gold toilet was swiped in under 5 minutes from Blenheim Palace. Now, that is on the English countryside. It's a big mansion. It was the birthplace of Winston Churchill. It is obviously one of those places in England that is historic, just like everything else is. One of the 3 men on trial in the case of the potty was involved in stealing it, and other people also helped then sell the John. Now, the toilet, by the way, just so you know, has never been recovered. It's believed to have been cut up, melted down, and then sold. Now,
otherwise, it's just a toilet.
It was a satirical piece, and it was titled America by an Italian conceptual artist named Maurizio Catalan. And he was poking fun at the excessive wealth that some Americans have. Now, the toilet it had weighed just over 215 pounds. It was insured for $6 million. Now, when he made it, the value of gold at the time was $3.5 million. Now, the price of gold has gone up quite a bit in the last few years, thus the $6 million insurance policy. Now, one of the defendants, Michael Jones, he cased the palace twice in the weeks leading up to the theft. Once before the toilet went on display at Blenheim Palace, and up close and personal once it was installed, and fully functional as an exhibit. You heard that right. Fully functional as an exhibit. Visitors could book a 3-minute appointment to use the toilet. And that's what he did.
Can I double book, man? I need a little extra time.
I don't know that I'd have to use it.
You just want to go in there and take a picture of it.
Yeah, like I get it's a gold, but like, you want me to use it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not going to poop in a gold toilet.
Now, both times, Jones took photos of the window that was later smashed to break into the palace. Second time, he also took photos from inside the bathroom, including a photo of the lock on the toilet door. But Jones was also probably among the group of 5 men who crashed through the wooden gates of the palace before dawn the next morning. Tell me if this sounds familiar. They used 2 stolen vehicles to crash through the gates.
They're from Seattle.
And they're 15. They tore across a field in an Isuzu truck and a VW Golf and pulled up to the front steps. That's where they smashed the window that Jones had photographed. Then they made quick work of breaking down the toilet door and removed the golden throne from the plumbing, leaving, by the way, water gushing from the pipes. That caused considerable damage to the building, which is a World Heritage Site, filled with valuable art and furniture that draws thousands of visitors every year. Now, Jones was in cahoots with another guy named James Sheen. He was a builder he worked for, who was part of both the burglary and the effort to sell the gold. Sheen previously pleaded guilty to burglary, conspiracy, transferring criminal property. He then worked to broker a deal with a guy named Fred Doe and Bora Guck to cash in on the haul. And they have it all in a series of text messages. He referred to the loot as a car, but they knew that he was talking about a gold toilet. He says, I'll link up with you. I got something right up your path. I can sell that car for you in 2 seconds. So come and see me tomorrow. They are both charged with a count of conspiracy to transfer criminal property. All the defendants have pleaded not guilty. I don't know. I feel like the value of the toilet would be more if you left it in its original form. I realize that might be a hard sell.
But then you're fencing it, right? So that's like stealing a piece of art. You steal a Picasso, you're not going to put it on Craigslist or sell it to me or you, right? You have a client lined up, or you know of clients that are willing to not ask questions about a Picasso. So if you're going to sell a gold toilet to someone, they've probably already hired you to take that in the first place. And these guys don't sound like high-dollar criminals. I mean, these are plumbers
we can get the
with
toilet
know-how.
out.
And we sell the gold. But
Yeah.
here's my thought, and I understand that it's it's England and it's all this historical crap, and it's a piece of art. Well, it's a toilet. So honestly, if I'm insured for $6 million, they never recover the toilet. To me, this is just me personally, I'd rather have $6 million in cash than a gold toilet that's worth equal value.
Right.
So
Also,
even if I'm and look, people are already visiting your museum, so it's not like that's the piece they're really going there to see. Those thousands of people already go. So, like, you guys just made $6 million and you lost the toilet.
you also have 215 pounds of gold.
Yeah.
At your disposal. All right, now we head a little south of England on down to France, and thieves used a stolen card, get this one, to buy a winning French lottery ticket. The ticket cashed in, or would, at $523,000. They vanished before cashing in, and now they're among France's most famous fugitives. The man whose card was stolen, identified in police documents as Jean David, is offering to split the cash with the lucky winners. He wants his wallet, though, back, too.
Yeah.
The thieves, meanwhile, they do face the risk of arrest. And as of this past Saturday, the state lottery operator said that no one had submitted the ticket to cash it out. It's an incredible story, but it's all true. Now, Jean David discovered earlier this month that his backpack had been stolen from his car in the southern city of Toulouse, including bank cards and other documents. Jean David asked his bank to block the card and learned it had already been used at a local shop. At the shop, a vendor told him 2 apparently homeless men had used one of his cards to buy the winning scratch-off lottery ticket. They were so totally happy when they got that scratch-off and they won. They left their cigarettes and their belongings on the counter, and according to the man who was working behind the counter, walked out like crazy people. Now, Jean David, he filed a police complaint about the theft, but is ready to withdraw it if the thieves will come forward so that they can share the money. He says without them, no one would have won. And he said, as he was talking to France 2, which is their public broadcasting network, prosecutors may try to seize the winnings, considering them illegally obtained gains, according to the lawyer. Now, the lawyer, he launched a national appeal last Thursday, asking the perpetrators to just contact his office to make a deal. You risk nothing. We will share with you, he said, and you would be able to change your lives. The ticket will eventually expire. It expires in 30 days. So time is working against us. So far, they have not been in contact with the men who stole the backpack and bought the winning ticket.
Well, they're probably trying to figure out, is this a setup? Right? Anyone can tell you anything they want, but like, man, is this a setup? But then the flip side is, like, if we turned it in and the guy doesn't press charges, he gets half of this. He'll be happy. He'll walk with over $250,000. I would chance it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm homeless. I have a chance to make $250,000 or get locked up for something like that. Like, you ain't going to be in jail long enough. To me, the money is a bigger motivator than the amount of jail time I would get.
Correct.
I mean, without question.
Yeah.
And the guy does not want to press charges. So I don't know how it works in France. So they still might get arrested. But like, man, I'm going after that money, man.
Right. Plus the fact the guy's like, look, I'm going to split it with him.
I just want my wallet back, honestly. And then, let's split the money.
I can't believe on a karma standpoint that's how that worked out.
That these guys, you stole a credit card and then you win the money.
You read the story where the guy, his wife just passed away. He's got cancer, or something tragic happened in his life, or his house was going to be foreclosed on. Those are the stories you want to read. Not like the guy that busted your window on a car and stole your backpack is the guy that won $500,000 with your credit card.
But I'm okay with that if in the end I'm splitting it. Because look, I don't generally do scratch-offs. I get the feeling this guy doesn't either, right? So now it's like, okay, you stole my crap, but I have the chance to make over $250,000 because you stole. I would take that deal any day of the week.
Yep.
Like, you know what, man? If I'm going to get $250,000 every time someone breaks into my car, I would hope they break into my car.
Now, this one's a little bit more crazy, just based on what was stolen. Colorado authorities are on the hunt for 3 suspects after a brazen theft in broad daylight of a pair of English bulldog puppies from a pet store near Denver, Colorado. Bianca Rose Larson, she's the owner of Centennial Perfect Pets, says the heist took place on Friday at 1:30 in the afternoon. 3 men walked in, started poking around. Larson says a red flag went up as the men were browsing the entire floor, not concentrating on one pin, as customers typically do. Super sketchy, as how she described them to Fox 31 Denver. Now, one man dropped to the ground, seemingly in a seizure.
This is the big one, Elizabeth.
Exactly.
My time's coming.
While another lifted the lid of the display and grabbed 2 male bulldog puppies and fled out the pet shop entrance with another man. Employee Nicole LaRosa says that she fell to the ground and was kicking and was that she fell to the ground and then was kicked in the face.
Jeez.
As she and another worker unsuccessfully tried to stop the man. Perfect Pet says the display case holding the nearly year-old bulldog pups each are worth more than $4,000. It is usually locked, but it had been unlocked earlier in the day so that other customers could handle the puppies. LaRosa said she then called 911 over the man who'd fallen to the ground. That man, ID'd by the county sheriff's office as 37-year-old Timothy Davis, he was taken into custody. So it appears that this was not the big one. It appears that this guy actually did have a medical emergency inside the pet store because...
Wait a minute. So he wasn't faking it. He actually
had a medical emergency in the pet store. You think by reading the story that this was part of the whole ruse.
That's what I thought. Like, hey, man, I was like, that's tough to be that fall guy. But
Get up, dude.
Yeah, but the woman who got kicked in the face, bless you, Mike, she's the one who called 911 to say, hey, man, this guy is seriously messed up, or more than likely he would have taken off. Now, he was eventually arrested and booked on suspicion of conspiracy to commit a felony theft and drug possession. Authorities say they're now on the lookout for the 2 men who fled, as well as a 4th suspect driving the getaway car, said to be a gold Cadillac Escalade with tinted windows and no license plate.
Would you use that as your getaway car?
No.
I mean, dude,
Jesus, come on.
that's when you get the Honda Accord or a Toyota Corolla or every other car, not a gold Escalade with tinted frickin' windows.
There is some good news. The sheriff's office says one of the microchipped puppies was returned by a good Samaritan who said they'd purchased the dog for $1,500 from someone on the street.
I then heard the story and said,
So they have one of the puppies back.
Would you buy a dog off the street?
It doesn't seem like the best idea.
I get, look, I'm glad they returned the puppy to the pet shop upon hearing the news, but there is very little circumstance where I would believe that someone selling me an English bulldog puppy on the street is above board.
I'm telling you.
Go to a Bass Pro Shops, man. Told you when I stopped at that Bass Pro Shop in Idaho, there was I don't know, there had to be 10 people out there selling puppies.
But I think that's just basically the culture of that area, as far as how that is done. You don't get your animals spayed and neutered. Well, they're
No. It's like a bunch, there's
so
this
there's 10 individuals.
Yeah, they got a box
and
of
they all
puppies.
have different.
Yeah, they got a box of puppies. It's like a family sitting there, and they're just kind of waiting to sell these puppies.
All right. If it's a family sitting there, that's one thing. All right. And if it's just random ass puppies, I kind of get it. 'Cause, growing up, someone would have a litter, and it was just like, please come by my house and grab a goddamn puppy.
Get a cat.
But not with a bulldog. Right? They're just notoriously expensive for whatever reason. I do not know.
Well, for
why.
breeders, it's going to be different than 2 people who
But that's what I'm saying.
had a litter
No one-
between mixed.
Well, but
no
the
one
people
stands
selling those
outside.
dogs, they're all specific breeds.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
What were the prices? Did you ask? There's like a sign like...
We didn't, but it was like a litter of doodles. These were specific dogs. And
Really?
I'm assuming maybe they're cheaper if you get them from those people, but maybe they
sure.
don't have all their shots or whatever. There's got to be some reason you're doing it, but I'm just saying, I could fathom a bulldog if somebody's selling it on the street being like, all right, I'll buy it.
Okay.
Especially if it's young.
And again, I would
Out of
feel
a gold Escalade. with no license plates. Yeah. This is on the up and up.
What city was it?
This was Denver.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem on the up and up, but I bought golf clubs out of trunks before.
Were they on the up and up?
Well, obviously, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, speakers, any kind of stereo equipment.
I mean, look, I bought some
jewelry,
some stereo stuff before, and I knew it wasn't above board, but I'm like, it's too good of a deal. Like $40 per person.
Right, exactly.
Somebody here says, haha, that's like outside the Tulalip area, Cabela's/Walmart. Always someone out there with puppies for sale.
Yeah.
I guess I'm missing out, man.
Tell you, I think it's a thing. Like at Bass Pro Shop or Cabela's, that's where you go to sell puppies.
I'll be damned.
I'm going to get in that business.
Yeah. I'm going to go inside and sell the fish in the big tank.
See that fish swimming right there? I put that one in there.
Which one do you want?
Hey, I tell you, they do a good job, man. We stopped at that one. It was like a Saturday morning, and they're already grilling. Like, we got free hot dogs and chips. I was like,
and
yeah, next thing you know, you spent an hour in there and bought stuff.
Big, small, or petty, tell us one thing that you've stolen in your lifetime. 206-803-ROCK.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. When that pipe starts to trickle and you're in a real pickle, call Pinky. When that burst pipe starts to smell ripe, call Pinky. When your water heater's shot and it won't get hot, call Pinky. When you get home to a flood, call your best bud. Pinky's Plumbing to the rescue. No job is too big or too small. Pinky's does it all. So when your plumbing backs up and things get stinky, call Pinky's. Pinky'sPlumbing.com.
When your plumbing backs up and things get stinky, call Pinky's.
Hiring is a lonely business. Posting jobs, sifting through resumes, interviews with unqualified applicants, being ghosted. What if you could link with dozens of qualified candidates who are ready to work right now with just one connection? That's Express Employment Professionals. Find us at expresspros.com. One connection, the workforce you need. Problem solved. Express Employment Professionals. expresspros.com.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL Limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
Where'd you get those shoes? Easy. They're from DSW. Because DSW has the exact right shoes for whatever you're into right now. You know, like the sneakers that make office hours feel like happy hour. The boots that turn grocery aisles into runways. And all the styles that show off the many sides of you, from daydreamer to multitasker and everything in between. Because you do it all in really great shoes. Find a shoe for every you at your DSW store or DSW.com.
This is the mighty 99.9 KISW and KISW HD1 Seattle. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Text the guys at 206-803-ROCK from the Pinky's Plumbing Studio. You're in the men's room.
Yeehaw! Our question, big, small, or petty, tell us just one thing that you have stolen in your lifetime. 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Daniel. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
So, a very, very, very young man. You know those buses, they look like trolleys, like the San Francisco Tree type of trolley?
Yeah.
Well, I decided to hop in one of those one time and fire it up and take it for a spin with a girlfriend of mine.
Do you need keys for it or anything? You just hop in, press a button, and off you go.
I was kind of like pressing buttons, like I had no idea what I was doing because I had no idea what I was doing, and then started. And so I was like, at least I know what that big red button is. That's the air brake. So I tapped air brake, and away I went.
How far did you drive?
no, I'd have to say probably the park wasn't that big, so a couple of laps, maybe about quarter mile, half a mile, but it was just a thrill,
Where was this?
Not the ski hill, but there's a little park next to it. It had a pool, a forest park.
So, Daniel, where did you do this?
It was a place called Forest Park.
Oh, Forest Park. Okay.
All right, got it. Yeah, good times. Daniel sounds like every morning at 7 o'clock in front of my house.
Beeping.
Oh, yeah.
Reverse. I don't know what the deal is, man. Everybody drives in reverse in the morning. Every big truck, nobody drives straight. They always drive in reverse.
So they just drive in reverse the entire time. You ever stolen a vehicle?
No.
I know you borrowed your roommate's, but I mean, I'm trying to think.
I borrowed somebody I knew's car.
I've done that.
But they didn't know I borrowed it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when it rolled down the hill and all that kind
exactly.
of.
That's more of when you get in trouble with your buddy. But that's not stealing a car.
You're not going to go to jail. He's not going to call the cops.
I knew where the keys were. It wasn't like I went in there and hotwired it.
Never actually stolen a vehicle. Council and I got close to stealing a school bus once at his bachelor party, but honestly, it was just to get back to the city. We were just kind of over the night, and there was a school bus sitting there for, I believe, a bachelorette party somewhere else. The council goes, look, man, you know I can hotwire that. Because we're outside, waiting for an Uber or something, but it just never showed. And I said, listen, let's give it 10 more minutes, and then we're stealing the goddamn bus. He's like, you're in. I'm like, I'm in, man. We're going to steal the bus, just drive it across the bridge. We're in Portland. Basically, just get to downtown, drop the thing off, get out of the bus, go to the hotel. But we're tired of waiting for everybody. We got to round them up. And it got to the point we were starting to cross the street to steal this bus, which in retrospect is so stupid now. But all the fellas came pouring out, so we said, all right, we're not going to steal the bus now. But I used to know a guy, his job basically was stealing vehicles for a chop shop. That's what this guy did. Oh, yeah. He was very open about it. He's kind of a stoner dude, and it was the first place I lived outside of my parents' house. They were neighbors. His smoke show of a girlfriend was a bartender, so we're chatting with her. This guy, Brian, he comes down, and he always had cash, right? Always had money. And it's not like they lived well. He just always had a ton of cash. And it's like, oh, yeah, man, I steal cars for the chop shop, man. They tell me what they're looking for. I go out and find them. It's like, well, we try to do the high-dollar stuff like Mercedes and BMW. Have you ever been caught? It's like, oh, sure, man. I've been caught twice. Other time, outrun the cops, the whole thing. But that is what he did.
One of the reasons that the place that I lived in, it was a big, big house, but 6 bedrooms. But it became the party house because we had cable. So my buddy Joe.
That's all it
we
takes.
moved. We moved in my buddy Joe from his previous roommate. His roommate was selling cable boxes where you could get all the channels. So I don't know if the chip was changed or they knew how to program it or whatever the deal was. So that was huge. So we all determined, look, we are going to get cable. So much like our place up in First Hill, but we didn't follow through on this because we called the cable guy ahead of time, Joe just plugged his TV in with this box. And lo and behold, we had a cable signal. Now, it would fade and get a little weird the higher channels you went up to. So Joe, being the guy who knew a little bit more about this than I did at the time, he goes to Radio Shack and he buys a power splitter. All right? This is the kind that you plug into the wall. And then ran the cable through that, and then all of a sudden we had all of the channels. Upon further inspection, we see that the cable goes outside, goes up the side of the building, and then the cable is dangling over into the house next door.
Right.
So we were stealing the cable from the people next door. The box was configured to where we were stealing all of the HBO Cinemaxes of the world.
The premium channels.
Showtimes, whatever they had available. So for a year, we were able to get all the movies that were on those. So we ended up being the de facto, if you want to come over, watch a movie, watch any sporting event, we could get everything that we could get on that box.
Right.
So that became the party house just based on the television, which worked out in our favor. People would always bring something. They'd always bring a 6-pack, 12-pack of beer.
I think you guys probably didn't mind it either.
No.
That row house I lived in Baltimore, those guys, it was kind of the basketball house, right? Because 3 of them played hoops.
Right.
But same thing, it wasn't any more special or whatever. There was just 6 of us. And it was you could come by at any given time, and there was always 2 to 3 guys just in that living room,
drinking beer.
Always. Drinking beer, hanging out.
Always.
Right? Because I think the only day I had off was like Wednesday. So like that was like my day. And people would just come by and be like, what up, Ted? Like, what's up, man? You want to drink some beers?
Hell yeah. So much has changed.
Big, small, or petty, tell us one thing that you've stolen in your lifetime. 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Larry. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Hola.
Hola. So, me and some fellas, we were at an establishment in Snohomish, and we decided after we played the game for a little while that we would just take it home with us, and that's what we did.
What game?
Pac-Man, tabletop Pac-Man.
Oh, you stole the tabletop Pac-Man out of the, arcade or bar?
It was a bar. It was a well-known bar in downtown Snohomish.
How did you walk out with this heavy table?
Okay, well, there was probably about 8-10 of us, and we were all drinking, and the way the set up the bar was, there was like the pool table and some games that were kind of offset. So the tabletop Pac-Man game, if you stand next to it, you can just take your arm at arm's length and put your fingertips underneath of it and pick it up. So that's what we did. I lived in the front, my buddy got the rear, then we had like a wall of buddies that stood there where the bartender just couldn't see. And so we got down to the staircase where we know, because we frequent this bar frequently, and there's a staircase that goes down. It's about 30 to 40 treads down, and it's narrow. So I led the way, and we got about 10 treads, and I couldn't hold the game. This thing weighed, probably 150, 200 pounds. And so my buddy had to crawl over the top of it and so we got it out of there. And, I had it free up in here until a couple years ago, then I got rid of it. But it was fun.
Was it still working when you got rid of it? Like, did you sell it or just finally throw it out?
No, I sold it. I got tired of it. I outplayed it, and I was moving, and I sold it to a buddy of mine. So it kind of stayed in the tribe.
Okay, let me ask you this, because it's a functioning machine. So how did you modify it to get in there so that you didn't have to put a quarter in there every time you wanted to play it?
Well, all we did was I just drilled the lock out and popped the door, and then I think it was about $47 in quarters out of it. and then a buddy of mine, he knew the game, so he just put it on to autoplay, and then we changed the speed on it so it went super fast. And you only got the one guy, and over the 15 years I had it, I got a high score of 289,000 on it, and it took me roughly about 30 minutes to play, and my buddy of mine, he didn't believe me. This is that. Right. So, anyways, he looked down online. There's a guy that played it for like 6 hours and got like 3 or 5 million points on it.
What was the last piece of fruit available? Because that's the original Pac-Man. So what's the? I never got that far. I mean, there was a cherry, or that was a start, and then you got maybe like an apple later. But what was the last thing you could get at that high of a score?
It was a key.
Huh? I've never seen that.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
And it was very entertaining, and a lot of people played on it. We had fun.
I would always want, man, if I had a man cave, I would get one of those just simply because they have them modified where you can get
a bunch of different games.
All the old games. They got a trackball on there if you want to play Missile Command or whatever the deal is that you're playing.
I've debated that. I have debated. Well, the thing is, it's very cost prohibitive. Was the thing. So my wife, she loves.
Also,
Pac-Man.
apparently, they eat energy. So you need to unplug it and plug it in when you're using it, and then unplug it because apparently they're power drain.
I've never stolen anything like that. I did steal the VCR from Chi-Chi's way back in the day. So, like you was cable, right? At that time in life, cable was huge. It was massive. It was the coolest way. And then VCRs were cool because Blockbuster's still in business, but we did not have the money to get a VCR. And I realized that at Chi-Chi's, when they brought front of the house staff in to train, if they were hired, they put in one of these videotapes, and they would sit there and watching those 45-minute tutorial on blah. And I'm like, because otherwise I would not have known it was there. So I called my buddy Tony. It was never actually a roommate, but lived with me most of my adult life somehow. I said, listen, I'm going to steal the VCR from the bar here at Chi-Chi's, but I need you to grab it, man, just in case they notice and start looking around. So I grabbed the VCR, I unhook it, I throw it in a trash bag, and since I'm the dishwasher, I'm always in and out to the dumpster anyway. So I put it beside the dumpster. Tony pulls up in his beautiful Chevy Chevette, the silver bullet we called it. He grabbed the trash bag. I'm like, the VCR's in there, man. Have it hooked up when I get home. Sure enough, when I got hooked home, VCR is hooked up. About a week later, a manager came up to me and said, man, can you believe that somebody stole the VCR out of the bar? Her name was Julie. I always remember this. I'm like, What? She's like, yeah, man, somebody snatched a VCR to the bar. It had to be an employee. There's no way a customer could do that. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy, man. That's I don't know what to tell you. But she said, but I'm going to do you a favor. I'm not going to come over to your house and watch a movie.
Yeah.
She just left it at that. And I'm like, oh. So deep down, she did not care. But she still had to address it. She's like, look, I'm not going to tell anybody. But she's just like, really? I'm like, okay. Well, I don't get paid enough.
Here's another scam. Here's another scam we did in that house.
Where were you watching at Chi-Chi's?
Like I said, they just had it for training videos.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
right
that's how it went to BKU.
So that's how, right, exactly.
I sat in the closet and watched all these videos.
They didn't use it much. It's just if they had a mass hire, they bring in 3 or 4 waitstaff people, they sit down, they watch whatever garbage they had on there. So I guess they had hired some waitstaff, went to the VCR, and it just wasn't there. So I don't know how she figured out it was me, but you know it was me. I never really had to deny it because she never directly asked, but it was very clear that she knew. And it was clear that I stole it.
Well, back to that house that had 6-7 bedrooms in it. We would get junk mail and all old bills, things from the previous tenants.
Of course,
it's college town. People typically stayed there for maybe a year or two at most. Moved on, right? So all this junk mail started coming in, and my buddy, back to Joe, who we might have sold back some of his CDs at times for extra cash because he had a wall of CDs.
It doesn't justify it.
I know.
He just had so many.
He did. He had a ton.
Yeah.
We should steal them.
Well, we just
sell them for money.
We took the greatest hits, the ones that we knew we could get money out of.
All right.
So if he had like all these Eagles CDs, we would just take the greatest hits, volume 1 and 2, take it back and sell. He'd still have the song somewhere on the CD. That's the way we justified it.
I just feel like when you're listening to that many CDs, the greatest hit CDs were valued.
They're easier to listen to.
That's why he stole them, because they can get more money.
More violent, right, exactly. But we would take these guys' names, and with a Columbia Record and Tape Club, they would send you 15 CDs for a penny.
Yep.
Or it was like BMG, I think was the other one. BMG. There was another. They had 2 different CD clubs.
Yeah, I remember Columbia House.
So we would always just scan the mailbox, just trying to find anybody who had lived at that residence with a name that we could use, and we probably had 10 shipments of.
So were you taking these CDs and then selling them, or were you actually keeping them?
Both.
Okay.
It just depended. Like, do we need cash for 1 box? Do we need? Do we want? Because basically, look, once you've done this once or twice, you've pretty well gotten everything that's available that you can see that you want.
Yeah.
So there's not, there's slim pickings on the other stuff. So, yes, we would absolutely buy the ones that we knew that we could sell back immediately. And then on the flip side, I was working at a radio station. They every once in a while, they'd send boxes of CDs. Mm-hmm. Now, these things would say clearly for promotional use
only, not for resale.
A lot of them would have what was called a cutout, where it looked like someone took a saw.
Yeah, and cut out the little corner.
Or they would have, like back in the day, the albums would have stickers on them, or they would have a punch
a hole, yeah.
But the CDs had a little cut in them. And there was one store in town where the owner of that store
didn't ask questions.
In his mind, these are more valuable
because they're quote unquote promotional.
Correct. These come straight from
the label.
From the label. And not only that, but they would have cut list recommendations on the back, which he said made them a little bit more valuable.
Okay.
So they would check a box, on an album, like play this cut. Play Nothing Else Matters.
Right.
That's the one we want you to play. So it would have the whole track listing, but then there would be a check mark by it. And so for whatever reason, he would give you a little bit more scratch on that. So as a kid, you'd always get one to take home and listen to it to kind of preview the album.
Sure.
I'd take 2 or 3. And then I'd take them over there. So CDs were a very, very good way to buy weed and beer.
Sure. Absolutely.
And most of the time they were somehow, not really on the level one way or the other.
Did you ever sell any of your own CDs?
Sure.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Well,
because all of your CD selling stores,
it's always like we got them.
Yeah, Columbia House, the radio station,
right?
And then every once in a while, I also sold one of his.
But I'd also trade them in and get the stuff that I think I wouldn't always just take the cash. I'd buy something that they had used on sale.
Sure.
Just kind of work.
That was always a thing too.
Like once I got out of a phase, like I had Jimmy Buffett or something. When I was 18 years old, Jimmy Buffett's greatest hits, probably one of Bob Marley's greatest hits. I'm in college, I'm listening to Jane's Addiction. This is not necessarily what I'm listening to anymore. So I would trade in stuff like that and swap it out for new Soundgarden or whatever.
You also make tough decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You might be looking at that CD like, I like this one, but man, I do want to go to that bar for $1 beer night. I do want to buy some weed. Like, you make choices.
You do. And essentially when you're selling CDs, that is kind of the... And it always starts easier than it ends, right? I never listened to this one. I never really liked this one, whatever. Sell those in a heartbeat, maybe 15, 20 of those. And then you start getting to the point like, oh, man, like all the CDs I have are albums I really, really like. But like you said, Ted, it's now the beer night at the bar down the street. If I can just get $10, I can get 10 beers, get hammered, come home.
that same golf club I bought out of a trunk, I ended up selling out of my trunk to somebody else because we were going on like a tailgate trip and I just didn't have money.
Yep.
And it was like, I've golfed in a while. I'll sell this to somebody else.
I remember I had to pay a cell phone bill or buy a bag of weed. Guess what decision I made? I bought a bag of weed. So, and it was my early years at the radio station. So anytime I needed to reach the radio station, I would call from the 7-Eleven phone booth that they had out there. And they said, we always knew it was you because it would say 7-Eleven. Because the first time I called, they're like, why is 7-Eleven calling us? Then they realized that was me. Finally, our old boss, Bill Pasha, he didn't call me out by name, but he was pissy about something. It's a meeting with like 15 people in there. And he's rattling off all this crap, things that need to change, and really none of it affected me. And then he just made this comment, and we need a way to communicate with you. This is a policy of employment. Like, yeah, that's me. Okay, I'll pay my cell phone bill, man. And that's when I got my cell phone back.
Big, small, or a petty. Tell us one thing that you've stolen in your lifetime. 206-803-ROCK.
Wow.
What's up?
I just bought and financed a car through Carvana in minutes.
You? The person who agonized 4 weeks over whether to paint your walls eggshell or off-white bought and financed a car in minutes?
They made it easy. Transparent terms, customizable down and monthly. Didn't even have to do any paperwork.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, have you checked out that spreadsheet I sent you for our dinner options?
Finance your car with Carvana and experience total control. Financing subject to credit approval.
Is your team at work feeling a little disconnected? Maybe the workflow's not flowing? Try Confluence by Atlassian. Confluence is the connected workspace where teams can create, organize, and deliver work like never before. In Confluence, teams can whiteboard their vision for any project, easily create or access the relevant pages and resources they need, and discover important context they might not even know they need. Plus, AI helps teams jumpstart brainstorms, organize information, and connect workflows, so teams can move efficiently and create alignment with ease. In fact, with Confluence, teams can see 5.2% average boost in productivity in 1 year. So if your team lacks confidence, try Confluence, the connected workspace where teams can do it all. Set knowledge free with Confluence. Learn more at Atlassian.com/confluence. That's Atlassian.com/CONFLUENCE.
If you're thinking about GLP-1s for weight loss, listen up. You must make sure you're maintaining your muscle mass while you're losing weight. Otherwise, you can slow your metabolism and regain the weight. Almacid, a natural superfood protein shake, has been scientifically proven to preserve muscle mass. It optimizes and supercharges your metabolism so you can lose weight easily. Use Almacid with GLP-1s or as a natural alternative. Find out more and see the university studies at almacid.com. That's ALMASED.com.
Independent financial advisors focus on building a relationship with you that goes beyond your portfolio. As fiduciaries, they must act in your best interest, always. The relationship they have with you will be based on transparency and trust, and they're committed to bringing you advice that fits your values. That's why Charles Schwab is proud to support them. Visit findyourindependengadvisor.com.
The brand new Grand Casino and Shoreline is now open. Step into the action with Vegas-style table games like Baccarat, Heads Up Hold'em Poker, Pai Gow, Blackjack, and High Card Flush. Feeling hungry? Feast on delicious Chinese, Vietnamese, and continental dishes plus breakfast favorites. Dine in or take out. And don't miss daily happy hours from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. to midnight. Grand Casino and Shoreline off Aurora. Open daily from 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. Visit GrandCasinoGaming.com. Welcome to the Grand Experience.
I recently found out that you can see a personal dietitian covered by insurance. There's this platform called Nourish that will match you with a dietitian based on whatever your concerns are, whether that's weight loss, eating disorders, autoimmune conditions, or something else. They're actually a network with major insurance providers, so most patients pay $0 out of pocket. 94% of patients pay $0 out of pocket. Find your dietitian at usenourish.com. That's usenourish.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Ready to explore Europe the striped way? Then fly with Condor Airlines. With nonstop flights to Frankfurt, Germany, there are great connection options to several cities. Whether it's the romantic streets of Paris or the stunning beaches of Barcelona, Condor will start your vacation by offering comfortable and spacious cabins. Fly the striped way. Visit condor.com today.
Hey, anyone know what channel the game's on? We know. Download the Sports on What app today and always know how to watch the game. Satellite, cable, or streaming. Sports on What knows the channel the game is on, and you can too. Subscribe today to start your 7-day free trial. Sports on What? We know. 99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Talking about people stealing stuff from restaurants on yesterday's show. A couple from a Reddit discussion thread on the weirdest things that people have taken from restaurants. I'll give you a few. The biggest item I took was one of those glass pitchers that they put on the table with orange juice in it for our entire table. Nice. They got a pitcher of orange juice and took the pitcher. All right. Brother once stole a whole container of a popular burger joint's special seasoning. Think we know which establishment that was. Mm-hmm. Another person just says, I stole a lemon off the bar. I was drunk. Thought I'd take it home and use it for my tea. Another, guys, I'm guilty of stealing a pie. This place had a refrigerator in the front with pies in it to take home. And I just grabbed one and walked out the door with it. Good times. I am guilty of stealing a pie. Here's another. I was walking out, going through a breezeway, and spotted this potted plant I liked. It was kind of a hipster restaurant. We were waiting and waiting and waiting. And eventually I said, it looks like they're not going to serve us or seat us. There are too many people in front of us. So I picked up this potted plant, walked out the door, put it in my car. What else do we have? Actually stole one of those cool fajita mini skillets. The kind that, you know, kind of have the cast iron in the middle and then a wood rim on the outside. What else? We asked to look at some beer mugs that a restaurant had for sale. Yeah, we didn't buy them. I once stole a stuffed alligator from a restaurant in Florida. It was in the lobby of the restaurant, and the owners were being jerks. So we donated it to the lobby of the hotel we were staying in, and the concierge really liked it.
I stole a 12-pack of beverages once, not on purpose. We were in the self-checkout.
All right.
I thought my buddy and I had both scanned. We hadn't. She checked our IDs, and then went, yep, you're good to go, check out, and he paid for it, and we walked out, and then he goes, you didn't pay for yours. I was like, what? He's like, I think you just stole those.
Damn.
Nice. Well, we were already out of the store.
Mm-hmm.
They tasted better.
My friend took a painting from a restaurant that was closing down. He looked at the manager, says, can I have this? The manager just kind of looked at me and shrugged his shoulders. So he picked it up off the wall and walked out with it. It's easily a value now over $1,000. I wonder if he got one of those Taco Bell paintings that
Didn't people go crazy for those a couple of years ago?
People were snatching up. If you try to find one now on eBay, they go for a pretty penny.
That is insane. It's Taco Bell, man.
Our question, big, small, or petty, tell us one thing you've stolen in your lifetime. 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Matthew. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola.
All right, so this was probably back in high school. Me and my two best friends were just stoned out of our minds, driving around a hot summer day, nothing to do, no school to go to, no girls to hang out with. One of my buddies had to use the restroom at a grocery store up in Auburn. So we're sitting there at the entrance in my buddy's car waiting for my buddy to come out of the restroom. And he comes out with a big box in his hands, big grin on his face, and he's literally high-stepping to my buddy's car. And he throws the box into the back seat, gets in, and says, go, 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 go. So we're like, okay, this is really unexpected. And we drive down the street, and pull over, and we look at the box, and it is a massive box, like a whole display of king-size Airheads, the candy.
Wow.
So, yeah, a couple, me and my high school best friends, stoned out of our minds, lived off of Airheads for about 4 straight days after that.
Airheads. That's what he stole.
I mean, I like sour, but that's a lot of sour candy.
That is a lot. Did you guys go through all of them?
Yeah, we went through all of them in about 3 or 4 days. The colors of my poop were out of this world. Yeah, good times.
Okay. I like it, man.
Yeah.
Well, if you can get your hands on that much.
Didn't was it your brother, Ted, that he was selling the school candy bars and someone held him up and stole his loot somewhere?
So my brother, right, when he was doing it for Carol, he was down by where my grandparents lived in northeast DC. Right, so it's funny. It's important to the story that it's that stop, right? So he got robbed. They stole all his candy, stole his money. Now you fast forward 10 years later, my buddy Bernie is selling candy bars for DeMatha at the same metro stop, and 3 dudes walk by and are like, "Hey, man, like, give us a candy bar." So you guys know Bernie.
Yeah.
I'm giving you effing, blah, blah, blah. Guys come back with a gun and said, "We'll take all the candy bars and your money." And he was like, "And the money?" And they were like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Same metro stop.
Jesus. Damn, it's probably the same dudes.
Big, small, or petty, tell us one thing you've stolen in your lifetime. 206-803-ROCK.
I mean, we stole a keg once when I was living in Baltimore.
How'd you steal it?
Well, we knew these guys were having a keg party, but they were across the alley, right? So we could see into their back door. And then they all went to a sporting event or something. The keg was there. So we just walked over and took it, and then we had it in our house. And basically, they looked over and saw us doing keg stands in our kitchen. We came over like, "You guys stole our keg." We were like, "What?" And they're like, "You stole our keg." And we were like, "All right." And they were like, "Bring it over." We were like, "No, you want it? You take it back over."
Did they grab it themselves?
They did, but I was lucky. I had my cousin in town. He had a couple of his buddy. They were a little more rough and tumble from PG County. So, I mean, these guys were talking a lot of trash at the front door with Cam. Now, Cam's a good dude, but Cam's like basketball player, maybe my height. All right. So you're going to walk it back. And he's like, "No, I'm not walking it back over." Then they walk into the kitchen. There's just like 4 big dudes staring at him. And they were like, "No, you know what? It's fine. We'll walk it."
I love you stole their keg of it. You want it? Take it back yourself.
Yeah, we wouldn't have done anything, but they didn't know that. Like, we were just being stone-faced on the verge of being like, "All right, you got it."
Right.
But they panicked so quickly. We were like,
yeah. Stay me in there.
Yeah.
Big, small, or petty, tell us one thing you've stolen in your lifetime. 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Candy. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
I did and didn't steal a dress. I walked into a department store. They had a guard for a greeter. I chatted him up a little bit, went and found a very nice dress, tucked it under my arm, and it was sticking out both sides. And then I finished my other shopping, went up, paid for the stuff that was, not under my arm. The dress had become part of my body at that point, and I had forgotten about it.
How do you forget that there is a garment under your arm?
It was slinky, and it fit under there nicely. I just kind of tucked it there and completely forgot it was there.
Okay.
And then, so I paid for my stuff. The cashier didn't notice. I walked back. I chatted up the guard again, and then walked out to my car, unloaded, and then this dress dropped out. And I was like, "Oh, my God, I never paid for it." So I turned around and went back in, and I shook it in front of the guard, and I said, I stole this. I'm going to go return it. And he just kind of stood there with his mouth open. I turned it in.
So you didn't even buy it for yourself, even though you wanted to?
No, I decided not to. I decided I didn't want it after all. It was very nice, but it was kind of high dollar, so I changed my mind.
It was nice. It was high dollar, and even though you didn't do it intentionally, you successfully stole it. Why not just keep it?
I didn't want the karma.
But did you say you returned it?
Yeah, I turned it back in. I shook it in front of the guard, said I stole this, but I'm going to give it back.
Oh,
give it back,
I thought you returned it and got the money.
Oh, that'd be the move.
No.
Well, I mean, at least you're honest. I can respect that. Yeah. I would not have done that personally.
Does this count as stealing? Years ago, my brother, he's a bartender. So you know the old ATMs, right? You had to put it in that tube.
Yeah.
So he fills out the list. He's depositing, blah, blah, blah. They send back his receipt. We take off. 2 hours later, we're sitting in a restaurant, and he reaches in his pocket. It's like, oh, my God, I never put the money in there. But he had the receipt. They had already accredited his account.
For how much?
It was like $400 or $500 because he's a bartender.
So they
right?
said the money goes in, but you never gave me the money.
But they gave him the receipt. So they've accounted for the money being.
So they can go back and see, okay, why are we short $400? And look at that transaction and go, that's the only one it could have been, right?
Maybe.
I don't know. And he never got in trouble for it.
I mean,
like, I feel bad because it's on the teller.
It's kind of stealing, but it's not theft. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, it's like you pay for something with a 10, they give you change for a 20. You walk out. You're like, all right, well, I just made a $10 profit on this, but like, I did not steal this. I mean, it's kind of theft because you're aware of it. And if you were like Candy, who just called, yes, you would take it back. But we all know you're not going to. So I would say it's theft without stealing. They gave it to you.
I think it was just so busy on a Saturday morning, whoever the teller was just forgot to, like, count the money and just was like, there's the form, type it in, boom.
That's unbelievable. I wish that would happen to me.
Yeah.
Big, small, or petty, tell us one thing that you've stolen in your lifetime. 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Justin. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
So let's see here. I was working at a retirement home back in high school, and I gotta admit, they had some really, really good cookies. So, like, every single week, I get like a dozen to 2 dozen of those things, just like pack them up and take them home.
So you just steal boxes of cookies from the retirement center?
Well, they weren't boxes. They were freshly made from the kitchen, and I was just like, oh, yeah, no. Like, Betty at table 5 had like 3, and this, that, and that. And then, yep, I had me some boxes of cookies. Just kept taking them.
Yeah. I mean, it's also a retirement home, so, like,
perk of the job.
They don't eat as much as you'd think.
No. And then the thing was that it was just kind of nice because that actually wasn't the reason why I got fired. So, never got caught.
Okay.
Why did you get fired?
I slept in.
Ah, okay.
Missed the
Not
shift.
the cookies. I just didn't show up one day. All right.
Big, small, or petty, tell us one thing that you have stolen in your lifetime. 206-803-ROCK. Speaking of that, when I got fired from BKU, all right? So I was still in the training process. I had been there for
How bad are you that you get fired during training? You're training, and they're like, yeah.
I was fine. I was doing everything right. The manager, he changed the schedule, and somebody said they could not work a shift on the weekend. I'd already worked Saturday. I knew I was not going to work Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal. As of Saturday afternoon, because I worked Saturday morning, as of Saturday afternoon, when I left that place, I was not on the schedule until Monday.
Yeah.
All right? So I go in on Monday's shift, and the manager says, you're fired. And I said, why am I fired? He said, well, I had you on the schedule for Sunday. And I said, I left here on Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because I worked the breakfast shift. So I left at 3 o'clock. I was not on the schedule when I left. And he said, yes, but I changed the schedule, and you were on Sunday. And I said, well, I was never informed of that.
Right.
And he said, it's your job to find out when you work. And I was like, well, did you call my place? No. So I was like, you know what? F you. So I walked out. So as soon as I get home...
So were you fired or did you quit?
He fired me.
Okay.
And I was like, look, I don't want to work for you if this is the way
right.
that this is going to go down. So as soon as I walk in the door when I get home, all right, the phone's ringing. My buddy's like, hey, dude, it's Burger King. So I go into the phone, and he said, you walked out, and you did not leave your uniform. And I'm like, F you. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not coming back. You fired me. Forget it. So I wore that. It was awful. They were brown polyester slacks. It was brown and orange.
Oh, I remember those, man.
The top.
God,
yeah. And it had kind of like a vest type of look to it, even though it was a shirt. So the main part was the vest looking part of the shirt was orange.
Yeah.
The sleeves were brown. It had a Burger King logo on it. It had some kind of fashionable color.
Yeah, I'm sure it was fashionable.
But either way, I'm like, so I had this thing for a while. So, you're going to parties or whatever. Every once in a while, I just put this thing on and wear it.
Be like, hey, I'm the Burger King guy?
Yeah, I'm the Burger King guy, man, because I had a hat, I had a shirt, I had pants. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? If you're having like a party at Halloween, I'm dressed up as a Burger King guy.
Employee. Yeah. By the way, Ted, a texter, he's commented on your brother's situation.
All right.
So the bank screws up. Your brother honestly didn't realize he didn't put the money in, whatever. So this guy says, look, it's considered ill-gotten gains, so they consider it stealing. So ill-gotten gain. They go, look, we understand you did not. This was not your intent, but I guess it's the difference between like homicide and manslaughter. We know you did not mean to kill this person, but you still killed this person. You get charged with manslaughter, right? Versus you did it with intent as homicide. So they go, no, we know it's an honest mistake, but you could have fixed it, but you didn't. Hence, ill-gotten gains. And the bank teller, someone else said, would have been fired.
Oh.
So two things. And by the way, I just farted, and it smells terrible. I apologize.
Big, small, or petty, tell us one thing that you've stolen in your lifetime. 206-803.
I mean, my brother was turning 21, so I was 4.
Oh, God.
I told you,
Don't
man.
wave it.
I'm trying to wave it away.
Keep it in,
man.
no, but you're moving
not,
around
I'm
the
not
room.
taking. I got to thin this out.
You need to sit in this. We do not need to be a part of it.
Has it made it to you, Ted?
No, but I'm afraid to breathe through my nose.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Just telling you, it is bad.
God.
Hello, Miranda. Welcome to the men's room.
Jesus. That smells like straight poop. Hola.
Well, it's like poop breath.
God, it's straight poop.
And it won't leave. Man, and look, during the last break, I just took a leak, all right? I farted when I'm washing my hands, and it smelled like someone died in the stall.
That is awful.
That is
It
so
is.
thick.
I told you.
I feel like if I light a match, man, we'll all blow up.
It's chicken Alfredo, man.
You and
don't-
chicken
Teenage
Alfredo.
son, so you all are just, it sounds like I'm at home.
Yeah, sorry. This was, look, it was
He does
just a
this
quick
about
little...
every 3 or 4 months, then goes, when I eat it, I love it. I forget what it does to my stomach.
We don't.
I do. And I had it last night, and I didn't think about it.
It was delicious.
It was tremendous. I actually got seconds, man. And then this morning, I'm like,
you did get seconds.
why can't I stop farting? And I'm like, oh, damn it, that's right. All that heavy cream. But Miranda, don't let us stop you. What did you steal?
So back in the 90s, I was stationed in Germany.
Yeah.
And I was pretty easy on the eyes, and I went into this bar, and there was a retired first sergeant that ran it. And it's hard to find a bar that plays American music, has American drinks. And so here's this little place, a hole in the wall, a couple clicks away from my barracks. And I start chatting up the guy that owns it, and he tells me, put on some shorter shorts and come back at 6 o'clock. You got a job. I thought, oh, well, let's try this out. So I did. The thing about Germany was you get ration cards, and you get a ration card for smokes, a ration card for alcohol, for hard alcohol, and a ration card for gas. And old Roy, he liked to buy ration cards for liquor because it was really expensive to get American alcohol off post.
But could he go to the base and buy it with those cards?
He could. So he was retired first sergeant that married
gotcha.
that married a German. So he had a ration card, but we only got I think 4, maybe 6 fifths a month. And that's nothing for his bar. So you could go and sell Roy your ration card for $20. Well, when people would come in, when guys would come in on this thing we had called Combat Drinking Night, the first Thursday of every month, for $20, I'm going to give you a Hefe glass. So that's like a 24-ounce glass. And I'll put anything you want in it all night for $20.
Does that include like hard liquor? If I want a Jack Daniels,
Hard liquor.
okay,
Exactly. Yeah, Jack and Jim, those are the big boys back then. So they'd get hammered, and I'd call them cabs. I took care of them, what have you. But before they got in that cab, I'd say, "Oh, what? Can I have your ration card? Why don't you give me that alcohol ration card? You're really drunk. You shouldn't have that." And most of the time, they just slip it to me, and then I'd sell it to Roy for $20.
How much money do you think you made selling these ration cards to Roy?
Well, between the ration cards and the tips in that place, the 3 years I worked there in between deployments and such, only Thursday, Friday nights, I never used my military money. I came back to Fort Lewis with about $25,000 in the bank.
Good God.
How
Nice.
good looking were you?
I mean, I was pretty damn good looking, and females in Germany were hard to come by. You know, everybody was looking for that green card in the sky. So all these German girls, you had to be careful of them, and they didn't speak English. And
That
so,
sounds perfect. I have no idea what you're saying. Perfect.
yeah, there's like one female to every 10 guys. So I didn't have to be that great looking, but you know, I ran 7 miles a day, and I did pretty well for myself.
I bet you did.
Damn. Okay.
I can't believe I could just ask someone come back in shorter shorts and you got a job.
And they're like, all right.
Sweet, thanks. Been waiting for someone to say that.
It's a military base in Germany, though.
Yeah, I mean, you can understand.
Okay, I got to ask you a question. How hard was it to learn how to carry all of the big mugs on a tray? Like we went to the Munchin House, or not the Munchin House, the Hofbrau House. And they have, these women are walking around with like 6, 8 of these.
But the 24 ounces of beer.
Did you ever do anything like that as a waitress?
No, I was lucky. I didn't have to do anything like that. So this was in a little town right outside of our barracks. And the bottom was a sports plot that his wife owned. So beer and soccer games and sandwiches. And then upstairs, he had what would have been an apartment, but he had put a small bar in it. And then one room was a pool table, one room was darts, et cetera, et cetera.
All right.
And there was a little dance floor, and he had like a NASCAR theme going on. It was a country bar, which added to its ambiance and people wanting to come to it, because in German bars, you're getting techno and raves type stuff. You're not getting country music.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to come by a country bar. So this guy, he had a small place, but he knew the ticket. He had NASCAR tires stapled to the roof so that with like the white marks on them from where they'd rubbed. And he had a VW bus front as his DJ booth. And he knew what he was doing.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it was a small bar, and so everybody had to come up to me. So I was never filling more than a couple drinks at a time.
Well, Miranda, I never met Roy, but it sounds like a dude I would like.
Big, small, or petty, tell us one thing you've stolen in your lifetime. 206-803.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. You know what's sneaky? A bunch of big corporations buying up local companies you know and love, gutting them, and keeping the name. But you know who's not a sellout? Pinky's Plumbing. That's right. Pinky's Plumbing's values start with their work ethic, honesty, how they treat their employees, and how they care for their customers. Bigger isn't always better, and that's a fact. You should know you're working with a locally owned company that truly values where they live and work. Pinky's Plumbing. Pinky'sPlumbing.com.
Hiring is a lonely business. Posting jobs, sifting through resumes, interviews with unqualified applicants, being ghosted. What if you could link with dozens of qualified candidates who are ready to work right now with just one connection? That's Express Employment Professionals. Find us at expresspros.com. One connection, the workforce you need. Problem solved. Express Employment Professionals. expresspros.com.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL Limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
Where'd you get those shoes? Easy. They're from DSW. Because DSW has the exact right shoes for whatever you're into right now. You know, like the sneakers that make office hours feel like happy hour. The boots that turn grocery aisles into runways. And all the styles that show off the many sides of you, from daydreamer to multitasker and everything in between. Because you do it all in really great shoes. Find a shoe for every you at your DSW store or DSW.com.
Rock. This is the mighty 99.9 KISW and KISW HD1 Seattle. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Pinky's Plumbing Studio, you're in the men's room. Text the guys at 206-803-ROCK.
Tara Daly on the way from the Daily Mix Morning Show. We will sit and spin today. Back to the 80s we go with the top 10 glam metal songs of all time.
Oh, yay.
On the way at 4:30. We'll see if we can identify these gems from the MTV era.
Yes, gems.
This is one that will hit Ted right in the heart as it pulls at two heartstrings of his. Thieves have targeted freight trains. Train heists are now going on through the deserts of California and Arizona like the Old West.
Come on.
It's cowboy stuff. The heights resulted in the theft of more than $2 million worth of new Nike sneakers, including many that have not hit the retail market yet.
Oh.
According to officials, January 13th, suspects cut an air brake hose on a freight train traveling through a remote section of Arizona, made off with more than 1,900 pairs of unreleased Nikes, worth more than $440,000. Ted, many of the shoes were Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 4s.
That's going to be a guy that designs specific Jordans.
Okay. Which will not be available to the public until March 14th. They're expected to retail about $225 a pair. Then that robbery was one of at least 10 heists of trains in remote areas of the Mojave Desert since last March.
What?
And is being investigated. All but one resulted in the theft of Nike sneakers. All but one.
All right, so they know what trains they're hitting.
Exactly.
And another case. Train came to an emergency stop near Hackberry, Arizona, after it started losing air, according to a complaint filed in federal court. A white panel van is seen leaving the area with 180 pairs of then unreleased Air Jordan 11 Retro Legend blue sneakers, valued at $41,000. Another one in Seligman, Arizona, last year, resulted in the theft of $612,000 worth of Nikes and 8 arrests, according to federal complaints. Thefts from cargo trains, they say, cost the nation in their 6th largest freight railroads more than $100 million last year because of a combination of the value of the goods and the cost of the repairs and the damaged rail cars.
I did not know the train heists were back in fashion.
Big, small, or petty, tell us one thing that you've stolen in your lifetime. 206-803-ROCK.
That is kind of wild, but you think about it, trains go through some desolate places.
Absolutely, man. And like you said, they're in desolate Arizona, middle of the desert. There's no cameras, nothing, man. I don't know that I like Nike shoes that much, but still, something about
it's
that.
the value. It's a resale.
I get it. Just, but who are you fencing them to? So, Ted, I contact you and I say, look, man, I've done the heist.
There's shows for shoes all the time, all over the country. You have them in like your little like our armory or something else. You could have them at the convention center, but I mean, private sellers just show up with all these shoes. So generally, like sometimes it helps to have a receipt of like this is where I bought it, but generally
no one cares.
People that really know what they're doing are just making sure they're real or fake.
Right. That's all you really want to know. And don't ask questions.
Correct.
That's how I try to survive.
And look, women can do their own thing with their bags, right? I know that's a big deal.
Yes.
But I do find it hard when people you can't brag about Jordans if they're fake. And they make very good replicas of them. But there's a reason they're that cheap.
Where do you sell your fake Jordans? Am I selling this to distributors or individual shops or something? Like I can
usually just like websites you can find them.
Okay.
But again, you'd have to link up with somebody that's cool with wearing counterfeit shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Fakes.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Ron. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
Hey, so you guys were talking about trains in Seligman, Arizona. Coincidentally, my dad ran Santa Fe out there from Needles to Seligman. For years, they had a derailment, and it was actually women's shoes. And some of the guys went out there and collected shoes, and they had them. My stepmonster used to sell women's shoes for like 2 years.
Your stepmonster?
After that, they just went out and collected like tons and tons.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So my story is back before about the year 2000, the Las Vegas casinos, most all the machines, they were coin operated. They used nickels, quarters, or silver dollars. And very few people knew this, but if you were running low on cash, you could take a roll of nickels. And if you were patient, you could walk around and you could find a quarter machine or a silver dollar machine that would actually take a nickel. And so I had a gambling problem back in the day. And sometimes, a couple times I got low and I was able to find a dollar machine once that actually took pennies. No cap. A dollar machine that took pennies.
And did you make any money off those? Did you hit?
Yeah. Actually, once it hit, and then it jammed. It was trying to kick out nickels, and it was $200. And the guys came. They opened the machine. They saw the nickels all over it, but they couldn't prove anything, and they had to pay me out $200-something in cash.
Okay.
All right. Hey, man, if it worked,
why not?
I don't feel bad at a casino. I just don't.
They'll get it back.
They'll get it back. Look, I'm not clever enough to pull off anything at a casino anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to count cards. I don't have weighted dice. Slot machine is just pure luck. Like, I am not smart enough to rip you off.
Big, small, or petty, tell us one thing you've stolen in your lifetime. 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Brock. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
So I've told a few stories, and Miles didn't believe some of them, but I grew up in Ballard back in the day, and it was crazy. It wasn't like West Virginia or anything. Ballard was a bunch of fishermen that had a lot of money, and at one point, drugs became, like, really popular in the 80s. Cocaine.
Oh, you mean fishermen do cocaine?
Yes.
Shocking.
So,
Whoa.
Yes. All my buddies would go up on the boat. They'd make like 30 grand. They would come home. We'd have a huge party. They would buy a car. They'd crash the car. And then they'd forget to pay their taxes. And then they'd go back up and do it again. So my brother was a dealer back in the day. And I got taught at a young age at 16 how to deal also. But there used to be, in Washington, it was really popular in the summer, the races. So you'd go to Tri-City and do the Tri-City races, and then there'd be Seafair. It wasn't all like now it is with the, the families and stuff. It was a lot more partying way back in the day. So my brother one time calls me up. He knew I was coming up to the races the next day and said, hey, I've already gone through all my supply. Can you bring some up for me? And then he told me where he stashed his stuff. So it was, again, back in the day, the balls, they were like golf balls of cocaine in a freezer bag. And he taught me how to cut at that point. So I brought him up as coke, but I stole an 8-ball from him on the way up there. So.
Well, I mean, they look traveling expense. You got to keep that in mind.
I would just assume if someone's bringing me drugs that they've taken their transportation fee, as it were.
But there was one of the things that happened on the way that I'll never forget. Me and my buddy are driving. We're right by Ellensburg. He's driving my vehicle. I'm only 20 at the time. Or no, I guess this is older. So no, I guess anyway, I'm a little older. I'm 20. We had stolen some beer that was in the car. We get pulled over by the cops in Ellensburg from an airplane. My buddy gets out, and they pull him back to give him a ticket, and then they come up to me and say, hey, can we search your car? And at the time, I had like an eighth of weed, an ounce of cocaine, and a bong behind me, and I told them no. And they ended up giving me an open container ticket. And then we went on to Tri-Cities, and, I never went to sleep that night.
Yeah. Hey, dude, I've been in the Buckaroo Tavern before where I had like 3 guys beside me that were...
Buckaroo. Why do I know that name?
They're just back from Alaska. They just got off the boat. And when I walked in and sat down, I just got a beer.
Oh, it used to be in Fremont, Buckaroo.
Yeah,
right?
It's LaCoin now.
Right.
Or the old spot where Matt had a Louisiana place. But... They were cashing out, and the woman said, whatever the deal is, it's $70 or whatever. And the 2 guys who took money out of their pocket because they're all pitching in, they had to unroll their 20s.
Oh, because it was
like, I mean, they're throwing straws of money. And I look over, it's like, oh, man, you guys are having a good night, kind of thing.
Well, especially back in the day before there was, like, rules on, like, how much you can catch and this and that. It was just like a derby. So there was just, like a month, 3 weeks, you could just go out there and catch as much as you could. And I mean, even if you watch The Deadliest Catch, a lot of those older captains talk about that, about like, man, we made so much money. But then drugs, cars, women.
Oh, of course.
And it's the same thing. And to do that kind of job, you've already kind of a different dude.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not shocking those guys that work that hard for that condensed amount of period when they're down here. Like, they're adrenaline junkies.
Right.
They don't mind danger. Like, they're going to go out and tear it up.
Also, you're not getting on a plane. So...
Oh, no. Come on, man.
So
what do you want me to do, man?
When you pack your stuff to go for the season, it's just your bags and whatever you put in there.
Yeah.
So if you want to put 4 8-balls of cocaine, in your bag as you're going off to start the season, it's not like you're going through TSA.
Well, they can't on the boats.
Well,
that's why a lot of them go insane when they get off the boats, because they have habits. But it's like super illegal if you get caught with the captain's going to lose his license. You're going to the boat's going to lose stuff.
What if I have a private jet? If you have a private jet, you go through the same TSA screening.
It's
and
not
all
the
that.
same level.
Right, because
you pull.
I can't afford a private
you
jet.
don't.
But I thought if I could, and there's very little security screening, like count on the fact that I've got a legal.
No, because there's not like TSA down at like
Boeing Field.
Boeing
Right.
Field. So I've flown on a private airline before. It wasn't a private jet.
Right.
Same thing. There's no TSA, but I think every once in a while the cops do show up and will stop like a private jet and be like, because you'll read it once in a while. Somebody famous, their jet gets raided, but generally that's the point of the private jet. It's like that famous scene in Entourage where like he loses and they're like, we really shouldn't be spending money on a private jet to go back to New York to visit family. It's like, well, how are we going to get the weed and the dog there?
Right.
Big, small, or penny, tell us one thing that you've stolen in your lifetime. 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Jake. Welcome to the men's room.
Jesus.
Sorry, man.
Hello.
Hola.
So, about 15 years ago, me and my buddies, during Pleasant Valley days, in a town population with 420 people in it. And Pleasant Valley days is kind of like a state fair to everybody else, if that makes sense. So anyway, they had a live band down there and in our community center, and us all being our kids and hooligans and whatnot, we all knew how to get into there without breaking in. And one of my buddies went and took a bass from the bass player that was there. You know, they just left their instruments there and whatnot. And anyway, $15,000 reward went out for it, and I'm pretty sure that bass is still in my buddy's wood pile over in his grandpa's yard.
He put it in a wood pile?
Yeah, because when the reward went out, he wasn't sure if any of his friends were going to snitch on him, so he just kind of hid it in the wood pile and forgot about it.
You think it's still there?
It's a possibility.
Okay.
That's a small town, and you know how hillbillies could be sometimes.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
sure.
Leaving the base out.
Yeah, I don't think it matters where. If you're in a city, if you're in the middle of nowhere, there's going to be people who do stupid things. You know?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
No matter where you are.
All right, but say you're in that situation, you've stolen the stuff, there's a $15,000 reward. I mean, do you turn it in? Try to collect the money?
I
come up with, with your cover story.
I guess that's the issue. $50,000 reward tells me that the instrument is worth more.
Well, for sure.
So, I mean, I can't imagine losing that valuable. It's almost like you knew the instrument was worth money to take that one in particular when you were there, because if there's a guitar, there's all these other things.
Sure.
You take that one instead of taking a Fender or whatever, You obviously, either you're just dumb luck or you just took the most expensive one accidentally, or...
Which is also a possibility.
Yeah, I would turn it. I would just tell the person that stole it, like, give it to me. I'll turn it in. We'll split the money.
But what's going to be your cover story? I mean, that's the thing. Like, you did not steal it, so they can't get you on that. But you know the person that stole it. You turned it in. So, like, what is your story?
I don't know the person that stole it. It just ended up at our house, and I recognized it.
I saw the poster.
We had a big party. A bunch of people came over.
Yeah.
They left this and like a guitar or something. I don't know, but this is the one on the poster. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Big, small, or penny, tell us one thing that you've stolen in your lifetime. 206-803-ROCK.
Actually, it's sad. They stole our dog.
Yeah. You think you're upset.
What was the story you were telling me earlier about the 7-year-old kid?
It's coming up for shot of the day.
Okay.
She, yeah. 7-year-old kid trying to steal a dog. But she had a plan. That's the thing. She's not just a dog napper. She actually put some thought into this and failed. Hello, Pauline. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, the Cholas.
Hola.
How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great, Pauline.
I'm
Thank
a little
you.
gassy, but I'm doing well otherwise.
That's good. That sounds pretty typical, Thrill.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I got 2 stories for you. If I have time, I'll tell you the second one. First one's a little bit vanilla, but went out with a couple of my girlfriends one night to O'Donnell's and Everett down on 128th Street, and was coming out, and they had an Irish prayer. And my name's Colleen, so Irish. And in my drunken state, I thought, hey, if they didn't want dips like me to take this off the wall, then they should have screwed it on the wall. And I proceeded to take said prayer home and had it.
Wait a minute, you stole a prayer?
For about 10 years.
You didn't, I mean, being religious, you did not have, this didn't, I understand you're supposed to take the Bible in a hotel room. That's what they're encouraging
I
you to
went
do.
to Catholic school until 6th grade, so religion's ruined for me.
All right. You stole from Sean O'Donnell. Man, oh man. Well, that's probably why all the stuff is nailed down at the one in Fremont, did.
That's kind of what I thought, too.
Yeah, they call that the Colleen nail.
Right. Damn, Colleen.
What was the other one, Colleen?
So this one is a little bit spicy. I was, meth a hell of a drug. And
we're doing meth now.
In the street. Well, not now, 20 years ago.
No. I'm just saying for the story. I like that you updated.
Yeah, upgrade a little bit.
All right. Now
Very,
we're
very religious.
Now we're on meth. All right.
And I had broken into this cabana in this apartment complex, and there was some paintball gear there. And I'm getting everything together, and there's this Rottweiler there, scares the hell out of me. So I stand up, and I open the door, and I ask the dog, I go, hey, you want to go outside? Dog gets really excited, goes outside. I grab all my stuff. I get on my bicycle. I ride home. I unload my stuff. And then a guilt hits me, and I felt so bad, and I was so worried about the dog getting in trouble or getting lost that I ended up going back out, finding the dog, and returning it back to the cabana, letting it back inside, and still never got caught.
Wow. Do you think the meth triggered the guilt, or you just...
No.
No. Okay.
Right.
So you just feel bad.
Do you still have the thing you stole from Sean O'Donnell's?
I do.
Where is it?
Right now, it is in a box in my garage, but I had it up in my kitchen for about 10 years.
Okay. This was the early days of Sean O'Donnell.
I mean, hey, look, don't feel bad. We had a text come in that says at about 13, my friend and I, we would steal the offering from the church to buy weed. It got so bad that they put a lock on it. We just broke it off. We're going to hell. At least they acknowledge that part.
Yeah, we had that scandal in my school one Monday.
What?
Same thing. There's like they, during Mass, they pass the basket around.
Yeah.
Well, there's also like these things that you can put money in all the time to donate to the church. And somebody had broken in and gotten that money, and then they had to put locks on them. But it was a massive deal.
Mm-hmm. Were you a part of that?
I was not.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all.
Also, when you're an altar boy, it's your job to go around and do the collections. Well, at least it was when I was growing up.
Depends on the Mass, dude.
Okay, so
you get a busy 10 a.m. Sunday Mass, man. There's other people you hire to help. As an altar, you go out, you pick them out, and you go, Mr. Whoever, you get it. Oh, sure.
You trust him with the envelope. No problem.
You got to.
Okay.
You ever
I
walk
want to
out
do
there?
that at my house, by the way.
What's that?
Like, like Mike and
You're
his
having a
wife.
party, you got
a couple
food.
people come over. I said, hey, just come over and watch the game. Then at halftime, I just start sticking that basket in front of them.
I'll put out the envelopes.
Yeah.
You're like, here, man, anything, give me anything. I bought a lot of food at Costco, got some beers.
Yeah.
Just give what you need or what you want.
At what age do we stop paying to go to parties? I feel like in my 20s, at least the first 5 years of my 20s, right? Like,
it was a $5
guys
count,
throwing
right?
a party, whatever. Yeah, and it was always about $5, and you didn't even necessarily have it. Like, come on, man, just let me borrow $1, dude. I got $3.75. Give me $1. I could talk my way in for a quarter. It was always a big thing. But same thing, you had to pick the person who you trusted to hold the money.
If you were having the party, yeah.
If you were having a party, you had like a buddy of yours basically work, and even though you knew everyone that was there, but you still had them working the door, because even though you knew everyone and you invited everyone, you didn't necessarily trust everyone.
Well, they're your friends, so you know who you can trust and who you can't.
Right.
So they're the ones always standing around by the keg, and you're like, Matt, how many cups have you sold? We need to get more cups. We need to get more cups. We got 50 of them. There are not 50 people walking around here.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on? What's happening?
What's going on, man?
Yeah.
I think it depends, too. As you get older, like, everybody just brings more stuff.
Yeah, that's very
So, I
true.
mean, that helps it, too. Is it's like, all right, if you're cooking, I'll bring this or that. And then, to me, it just depends on size of the group, right? If it's less than, like, 10 people and you're ordering a fight, you might have to chip in for that fight.
Yeah, that makes sense. Big, small, or petty, tell us one thing you've stolen in your lifetime. 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Anthony. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hola.
Hola. All right. So back in the day, I grew up down in Mississippi in the little rural town, and a buddy of mine, his last name was McCool. He had a great last name. And he called me one day and he said, hey, I have some beer that I'm restocking the cooler, and we have more than we could fit. I'm going to fill up some ice bags and mark them with an X. Come buy those ice bags for 50 cents a bag, and there'll be 2 beers in there. So I went and bought 6 bags of ice for $3 and got a 12-pack. they were all Zimas. It was like way back in the day. It was like 2002 when Zimas and all that stuff was the big rage. So drop some Jolly Ranchers in those bad boys.
Yeah, why not?
Hey, good on you, man.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Good God. All right, Texas came in. Robbed a bank when I was 20.
Oh.
Never in trouble before or after. Did it to pay for my mom's surgery.
Jesus.
Wow.
Tara Daly's joining us from the Daily Mix Morning Show. Once again, we're going to sit and spin. We've got the top 10 glam metal songs of all times on the way at 4:30. And your emails coming up next from the men's room at KISW.com.
Wow. What's up? I just bought and financed a car through Carvana in minutes.
You? The person who agonized 4 weeks over whether to paint your walls eggshell or off-white bought and financed a car in minutes?
They made it easy. Transparent terms, customizable down and monthly. Didn't even have to do any paperwork.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, have you checked out that spreadsheet I sent you for our dinner options?
Finance your car with Carvana and experience total control. Financing subject to credit approval.
Is your team at work feeling a little disconnected? Maybe the workflow's not flowing? Try Confluence by Atlassian. Confluence is the connected workspace where teams can create, organize, and deliver work like never before. In Confluence, teams can whiteboard their vision for any project, easily create or access the relevant pages and resources they need, and discover important context they might not even know they need. Plus, AI helps teams jumpstart brainstorms, organize information, and connect workflows, so teams can move efficiently and create alignment with ease. In fact, with Confluence, teams can see 5.2% average boost in productivity in 1 year. So if your team lacks confidence, try Confluence, the connected workspace where teams can do it all. Set knowledge free with Confluence. Learn more at Atlassian.com/confluence. That's Atlassian.com/CONFLUENCE.
So I read in USA Today that the majority of people stop GLP-1 weight loss injection shots in a year. Now, what's concerning is if you get off GLP-1s, there's a real chance you can gain all the weight back. The solution? Alma said, a natural superfood protein shake. University studies show it optimizes your metabolism so you can lose weight easily, and Alma said it's been scientifically proven to preserve muscle mass. Use Alma said with GLP-1s or as a natural alternative. Find out more and see the university studies at almased.com. That's ALMASED.com.
Independent financial advisors focus on building a relationship with you that goes beyond your portfolio. As fiduciaries, they must act in your best interest, not just some of the time, but always. That's why Charles Schwab is proud to support them. Visit findyourindependentadvisor.com. The brand new Grand Casino and Shoreline is now open. Step into the action with Vegas-style table games like Baccarat, Heads Up Hold'em Poker, Pai Gow, Blackjack, and High Card Flush. Feeling hungry? Feast on delicious Chinese, Vietnamese, and continental dishes, plus breakfast favorites. Dine in or take out. And don't miss daily happy hours from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. to midnight. Grand Casino and Shoreline off Aurora. Open daily from 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. Visit GrandCasinoGaming.com. Welcome to the Grand Experience.
I recently found out that you can see a personal dietitian covered by insurance. There's this platform called Nourish that will match you with a dietitian based on whatever your concerns are, whether that's weight loss, eating disorders, autoimmune conditions, or something else. They're actually a network with major insurance providers, so most patients pay $0 out of pocket. 94% of patients pay $0 out of pocket. Find your dietitian at usenourish.com. That's usenourish.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive. Most of you aren't just listening right now. You're driving, cleaning, and even exercising. But what if you could be saving money by switching to Progressive? Drivers who save by switching save nearly $750 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Multitask right now. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
Ready to explore Europe the striped way? Then fly with Condor Airlines. With non-stop flights to Frankfurt, Germany, there are great connection options to several European cities. Whether it's the romantic streets of Paris or the stunning beaches of Barcelona, Condor will start your vacation and make it even more memorable by offering comfortable and spacious cabins where you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. Fly the striped way. Visit Condor.com today.
Hey, what's the easiest way to find out what channel the game's on? Sports on What? Subscribe to the Sports on What app and quickly find the channel for every provider. Satellite, cable, or streaming. Sports on What knows the channel the game is on, and you can too. Download today.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Tara Daly from the Daily Mix Morning Show. On the way, we'll sit and spin the top 10 glam metal songs of all time. It's dark. Coming up at 4:30. But first, time for a few emails to the men's room at KISW.com. Couple on our question about what did you steal? Bitches, back in 85, we would go drive around the mountains in Klamath Falls. We know this is from Raymond. Every story starts with Klamath Falls.
And it's always bad.
We got a couple of these listeners. You know, Elk Plain Drifter, everything's in Wyoming.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of listeners, everything's in California. This one, Klamath Falls again.
But California has good stuff.
Right.
Klamath Falls doesn't.
Yeah. We came across a 68, 69 Ford pickup with a California plates, no keys. Truck was fairly nice, so I jumped in, hot-wired that bitch, and drove it to the other side of town. Parked it on the hill and left. Went back 2 days later, and there wasn't much left. I may or may not have had friends with trucks the same year. Peace out. That from Raymond, the Klamath Falls transplant.
The greatest story, right? Like, you guys know, like, my one friend is a lawyer.
Yeah.
So there's some case or whatever, but one of the witnesses, it happens at Klamath Falls, but, like, he needs that guy in town, right? But it's here, like, a federal courthouse, blah, blah, blah. Like, basically, the guy shows up with, like, you know, like a pole with like a plastic bag with clothes on it over his shoulder.
Oh, my God.
Right? So they have to, right? They got to get him changed.
That's the witness.
Right. And the guy is honest, but he just looks, he's like, we got to clean him up. Clean him up, get him in there. And I guess the other side is doing a good job of breaking this guy down. And like, well, how do you know? Like, the train could have been here, the car could have been there. And I guess the guy finally loses. It's like, I spent 35 years in effing Klamath Falls. Like, I effing know it.
Did it help the guy?
They end up winning.
Okay.
But it's just between that and the fact that our RV got robbed by those dudes who were sitting 10 feet away from us drinking our beer the next morning. Like, my view of Klamath Falls is just not great.
All the guys, back in 1986, me and my buddy stole the wheels and tires off a brand new Mitsubishi Mini truck from the dealership. They made mini trucks for a few years, lowered custom wheels. It was on the main drag in Fremont, California. Basically what's like Aurora Avenue here. Good times. Patrols decades ago, I was living in Austin, going to UT. I used to drive to Colorado a few times a year, and there was a sign on the highway that said Roach Unit. I had a buddy at school named Chris Roach, so I decided to steal the sign. Of course, it was much bigger than it looked from the highway and barely fit into my little Toyota hatchback. Covered it with clothes and whatever else and drove under the speed limit the rest of the way home. Love the shows, guys. That from Mark. As we move on to the birthdays.
I thought that story was going to be about weed.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know, but it's just, I go to UT in Austin, but every couple of months I drove to Colorado, so I was like, ooh, weed story.
Yeah.
And nothing to do with weed.
Roach Unit.
That may have been why he was going to Colorado. He just didn't bring that up for the purposes
Told you,
of the
we had at
story.
least 15 of them in our place.
Oh, the streets
and the cops came in because we were making too much noise. Turn the music down, that kind of thing. They show up, they're right in the doorway, and they look around, and they're like, guys, if we come back, you know the drill, all that stuff. Also, we're going to be back tomorrow to pick up all the signs. So there's one of those trucks with the yellow like lights flashing and the pickup truck and all that stuff. Sure as ass, they're going through our entire house with the cop that was there the night before. They're going into every single room. They're taking, I mean, and it was like 15, 16 signs. I mean, I had 2 in my room. There was open joints on bridge. That was our pride joy because that was where we smoked. There was a deer crossing that had been completely shot
So
out.
how many bullet holes were
Not
there?
by us, but just, that was the signs.
There's always a high street.
We had a stop sign. We had a high street. We had
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you name it. I mean, we took it. Gentlemen, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm sending this in to you because no one else will. This is my 46th time around the sun. I was hopeful that I could get some shotgun gets. The Dirty Germans talking about playing pool tonight. And a motivational speech from Coach Ted. Coach Ted. I'm shooting 8-ball tonight in Fife. That's Scratch. Love the show. That from John. Get.
Yeah, pool should be very easy for you tonight. After all, it's all about balls and pockets and holding your wood.
And sticks.
Sticks.
There's no accent there. It's like, and sticks.
Guys, today's my beautiful wife.
Hold on, man.
Oh, you got more? All right. Sorry.
Motivation.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
motivation.
Yeah, Ted's loading up a line right now.
Hey, man! 46 is going to be awesome. We're going to do more coke. We're going to bang more chicks. We're going to drink all the tequila. Also, can I sell you this idea, man? Timeshares are a really good investment.
Coked up Ted.
Coked up Ted.
What would you really would be like on cocaine?
I don't know. I swear to God, dude, I partied with Michael Jackson.
What?
Yes, it was
Who is
wild.
this guy?
Yeah.
Guys, today's my beautiful wife and a new mom, Alicia's birthday. She's a great mom to our newly 3-month-old baby girl. Always positive with the stuff she does, like working at the school cafeteria for middle schoolers. So how about Coach Ted giving her advice on how to deal with middle schoolers and some dad jokes for Miles, maybe a cat fart. Love you, babe. Appreciate it. Let me see if I can find a cat fart real quick.
Oh, my God. Greatest sound effect in radio.
I mean, I feel like dealing with the middle schoolers is going to be a little bit easier to deal with high schoolers if you work in the cafeteria, right?
Cafeteria,
Yes. Yeah. Now, I feel like nowadays, we heard this yesterday, these kids got options. Now, what I would do, you know what? Maybe you buck the trend a little bit and just serve the pizza you want to serve every day and get all these kids on your side. I don't know. I'm sure, parents are like, thought they were having a balanced meal. It's like, yeah, well, she wants to be liked.
Well, she didn't drop it.
Yeah.
All right, Alicia, for you, I've got Chuck Norris jokes. Anyone like a good Chuck Norris joke?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't heard a good Chuck Norris joke in a while.
When Chuck Norris was born, he drove his mom home from the hospital.
Yep.
When Chuck Norris was born, he slapped the doctor. When Chuck Norris's daughter lost her virginity, he went out and took it back. Chuck Norris once told a woman to calm down, and she did. Superman wears Chuck Norris pajamas. Chuck Norris can clog the toilet by taking a pee. Chuck Norris can stand on a mountain, look straight, and see the back of his head. Chuck Norris doesn't eat honey. He chews bees. Chuck Norris can make printers work. Chuck Norris can smell what The Rock is cooking because The Rock is his personal chef. Chuck Norris keeps his wallet inside his condom. Chuck Norris lost his virginity before his dad. And Chuck Norris wrote the book that taught him how to read. All right, guys, here you go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
By the way, just so you know, Ted, people like Coke Ted.
Coke Ted.
Yeah,
Coke
they
Ted.
appreciating Coke Ted.
Yeah, see if you like Coke Ted when it's 6 a.m.
What do I say here?
You know, F1's on. You want to watch it?
Dude, we can do this one. I've got this, man, if you want to do it. Go ahead, Coke Ted.
There we go. I've been up for 3 days, man. Tell you what, this Corona's pretty smooth. Give me another vodka soda.
This is just what he puts on Spotify at 2 in the morning.
Right. Hey, Mike, you up?
Good shot.
Get up, Sean.
Coke Ted.
Hey, get in, losers. We're getting pork.
Privilege on.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, goddamn, I've been waiting for this game all week.
One extra email. Old Macholos, this
Let me
email.
explain to you each and every rule of cricket.
Now this guy.
Is in regard to Miles' comment about a conversation he had with someone about trying sushi and how they always know they won't like it before they try it. So as a 34-year-old dude who does not eat rice, noodles of any kind, soup, fish unless it's fried, eggs, and a multitude of other so-called normal things, I've had this conversation
a dolphin or something?
more times than I know how to count. And my response to other men about this is always the same question. Have you ever serviced a man? To which a quick no usually comes flying out. So I ask, how do you know? You don't like it. if you haven't tried it. And I'll tell you why, boys, because there's just some things in this world that you know to be true in the depths of your soul. I love you, crazy bastards. Congratulations on 20 epic years here in the Pacific Northwest. You guys have gifted your listeners a lifetime of memories. And I speak on behalf of all of them when I say thanks, guys. Rock on that from the real life James P. Sullivan.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Slow drain being a pain? Call Pinky. That pipe's being a little leaky? Call Pinky. When the toilet won't flush and you're in a rush? Call Pinky. When your shower lost all its spray power? Call Pinky. When your sink's on the blink? Call Pinky. Pinky's Plumbing promises to lick all your plumbing problems quick. So when your plumbing backs up and things get stinky, call Pinky's. Pinky'sPlumbing.com.
Yeah, sure thing. Hey, you sold that car yet?
Yeah, sold it to Carvana.
Oh, I thought you were selling to that guy.
The guy who wanted to pay me in foreign currency, no interest, over 36 months? Yeah, no. Carvana gave me an offer in minutes, picked it up, and paid me on the spot. It was so convenient.
Just like that.
Yeah?
No hassle.
None.
That is super convenient.
Sell your car to Carvana and swap hassle for convenience. Pickup fees may apply.
Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
Hiring is a lonely business. Posting jobs, sifting through resumes, interviews with unqualified applicants, being ghosted. What if you could link with dozens of qualified candidates who are ready to work right now with just one connection? That's Express Employment Professionals. Find us at expresspros.com. One connection, the workforce you need. Problem solved. Express Employment Professionals. expresspros.com.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
9.9 KISW. The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Coming up at 5:08, we will drink and toast with a shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check in with Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Well, thank you, Miles. For the first time, scientists have successfully cryogenically frozen and revived brain tissue without damage.
Saw that.
Without damage. That's fascinating.
That is fascinating. And they, when you try to explain to people the significance of something, like, be careful with what you pick as an analogy. So they were saying, we're getting closer to the idea that we could cryogenically freeze a human being and then basically thaw them out, bring them back to life without their brain rupturing and all this kind of thing.
Right.
So you might remember from the movie Alien, but I'm like, that's not the movie. That's not the movie to quote.
No.
Like, nothing went well in that movie. Just find another movie where you did that. Pick anything other than Alien.
So they just... Is really the only application that they're thinking of using this for, like space and whatnot?
It could be space, or if someone has potentially terminal illness.
Okay.
Some people, the idea being, hey, in the next 10 to 15 years, we believe we can find a cure for blank.
Also, there's a handful of people that are cryogenically frozen.
That is true.
Yeah.
Walt Disney, as far as we know, the rumor.
Right.
I thought it was just his brain, or is it the whole...
But still, if that's what you...
Oh, yeah.
If that's...
Something like that. Again, man.
Dude, I'm sorry, dude.
Cryman. No, you're not.
I'm not.
Yeah, I know.
I still got to say it.
Oh, God. Jeez. Man, dude.
I know.
You got to poop.
See, it's times like this that I'm glad I'm on this side.
It'll get there.
I know it will. But the door's over there and it's open, so hopefully it just walks right on out there.
I know.
Sharp cheese that you wouldn't eat.
Who's making this fettuccine you're eating?
That'd be my wife.
All right.
It's very good.
I'm sure.
Delicious.
I don't care what your kids say. She needs to stop making it. Moratorium.
That's a Friday night meal.
Yeah. Saturday night meal.
Yeah.
Friday night, a fettuccine party.
Hey, we're on vacation.
Jeez.
You can bathe in it. A new study found that ultra-processed foods make up half the average American's diet, even at home.
Damn.
It makes sense, though. You know,
there's things that you don't even think about, though.
Right.
Just little like lunch meat. I know, dude. It smells really bad.
Wow.
Like lunch meat to make sandwiches, and I didn't realize how many things were processed. And my wife got pregnant the first time, and I said, "Hey, man, didn't need all this processed stuff." And so she cut it out, and she's like, "I don't know what to eat." It's thick. I know, man.
Oh my god.
You're right. Lunch meat is a tough one too. It's just so easy.
We not
you
talking
don't think about it.
I mean, sandwiches.
Can we move on from food? Just the subject.
You don't want to talk about food, Miles?
Not right now. No, I don't want to talk about food right now.
New study on eggs finds.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I just found it in my nose. It smells like that.
Half of women in their 30s are reporting early symptoms of menopause.
Cool.
In their 30s.
I know.
Yeah.
So that's great for the guys in their life.
Back to the processed food.
Yeah. I don't know what menopause was, right? And my mom went through it. I'm like 11 or 12. She just seemed edgy, right? We couldn't figure it out. And I remember my father kind of pulled my brother aside and said, "Listen, it's just a thing. Do not bring it up."
Ooh.
Correct. Because we were just like, what is her problem, man? I mean, she's getting honest about everything. Yeah. And he's like, listen, just ride it out. It'll go away. And then when it kind of ended, my mother explained, what was going on. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, that sucked. I know it sucked for you, but, man, it sucks for all of us.
We had a coworker, man. She walked outside and smoked with us and go, this sucks. This is the worst.
Damn.
So hot. Seriously. She just got out there and vent, smoke a cigarette, and walk back in.
Jesus.
God almighty. You have no idea. Horrible.
New research has found that larger animals are more prone to cancer. I don't know why. I'm sure science does, but they had theorized it for a while, but I guess they just found whatever nail in the coffin kind of was like, yep, yes they are. Yes they are.
Well, mammals, right?
Is there just more room for bad stuff to happen?
I suppose. More cells, yeah, honestly.
Right, I mean, that's something I could figure. It's bigger.
Now, whales actually use their cell phones a lot more often, and they store them in their bras while they swim.
I thought they put it in the blowhole.
Blowhole.
Then when they breach it, blow it out.
I bet your ass smells worse than me wiping my finger in a blowhole and smelling it. I'll take the blowhole.
Just a nostril.
On a bet.
Yeah. Luigi Mangione has been overwhelmed in jail with gifts.
It doesn't shock me.
People are sending him presents in there. Ancient beaches have been revealed on Mars.
Look at these beaches.
Raquel Welch.
Sophia Loren. She's on Mars. These ancient beaches.
Ancient beaches.
Join us tonight on Discovery, where we talk about ancient beaches.
Our favorite, Jane Seymour. The ultimate ancient beach.
Ancient beaches. Tonight on Lifetime. Ancient beaches.
Write that one down, Steve.
I was like, ancient beaches. Would they find a photo of Barbara Hershey?
Look at this ancient beach.
Bette Midler.
The torpedo boobs. The polka dots.
What if they did just name them after older women?
Rename this one Raquel Welch.
That's right.
Beautiful ancient beach.
Oh, my God. A new study found that brewing tea can remove heavy metals from water.
Ooh.
Heavy metal. Yeah, right. I don't know how you're putting something else into the water. Well, I guess
I guess it absorbs the
I suppose.
Maybe the tea leaches some of that crap out of there if you have a tea bag itself.
Right. That then draws it back out. Sure.
Did you fart again?
I did not fart again. This is the remnants of that.
Did you notice when you got on the elevator that someone had completely sprayed it down?
I farted in the elevator and it was bad.
But when I got on it, it's like somebody just took their perfume bottle and dumped it out of the elevator.
No way.
Oh, yes. I'm not kidding you.
Dude, it was that bad.
And then when you go down the lobby, they sprayed it in there, too. This is a 42-floor building.
No way. They sprayed the elevator.
They sprayed the entire lobby.
Trust me, if you had something on you to get rid of that stink, you would.
God. Oh, my God. Well, that fart might not be vanishing, but there's a handful of things that people say might be vanishing from our society, and the good news is we got a whole list.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 or more things people believe will soon vanish from society. My bet is on the unicorn. Sure, everyone would have you believe they don't exist, but they do. We've barely explored 5% of the ocean. Do you mean to tell me you have looked under every rock, in every cave, in every forest around the globe? I say nay. Or should I say nay? But don't worry. We'll hunt them all down and spill their delightful rainbow-colored glittery blood for sports soon enough. Die, unicorn. Die.
Damn. All right.
You know glitter comes from the unicorn's glitterous, right? That's a little known fact. That's where all the glitter comes from in the world.
That's where it all,
that's
the source.
You got to milk the glitterous to get glitter. So kids, remember that next time you're making, something special for your parents in the holidays.
Most men don't know where that's at.
You got to find it.
You got to look around.
How long is it going to take you to milk the unicorn? Can't find the glitters, man.
Can't find it over here.
It's a little known fact.
Okay.
I learned that on Jeopardy.
There we go. There it is.
What is the glitterous? I'm sorry, what?
So these are things that are soon to disappear from society, or at least what people theorize will happen. Bottom of the list, they go with meeting someone at the gate at the airport. This is a BuzzFeed list, by the way, which I kind of thought that was already out of the window.
I mean, you can do it in other countries, but you cannot do it here.
You can meet them in the baggage claim area.
Right. And there's a couple.
What is this list again?
This is a list of things, what's the official verbiage here? Things that people believe will soon vanish from society.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like that's already gone because of security. You can't meet people unless you're flying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think there's also a couple airports that allowed pedestrian access into the terminal.
Really? Used to be, but not after 9/11.
Right, but wasn't it like Pittsburgh opened it back up or something like that?
I don't know.
Because they had really great restaurants in there or something.
Oh, okay, but you might not be able to access the airport.
Pittsburgh Airport, you bring the guns in through the front door.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's the whole thing. Before 9/11, that's what you did. If somebody was flying in, you'd go to the airport and just sit at the gate for them.
Yeah. Hobby stores, they say. Says, I don't mean craft stores like Michael's, but hobby stores with plastic scale bottles to build and paint, RC cars and planes, model rockets, all that jazz.
You will have one in each city, and that'll be about it.
You have art stores, which are still cool.
Sure.
There's one up on Capitol Hill.
Because people are artists, right?
Right.
I get that, but you're right, the hobby store, man, I don't even know.
Exactly.
Well, Joann Fabrics was kind of a hobby store in its own way.
There was.
All those locations are closed down, so if that's your hobby.
That's where I was last week when I was stuck in line with the crying lady.
Right. And then I suppose you've got Hobby Lobby, but I wouldn't even consider that a hobby store. That's another Joann's, and it's got a bunch of other knickknacks and
Hobby
decorations.
Lobby seems more like, almost like home goods.
Your kid has a project. That's what you got to do.
Your kid has a project, or you need a garden gnome.
Right. You want to decorate for Christmas.
Exactly.
There was a hobby store I remember when I was a kid, and that was pretty much the last time I ever even remember seeing anything resembling.
Like testers paint, little figurines, all that stuff.
Hobby store.
The other problem is a lot of that stuff has gone out of the way, right? Like, I remember we'd go to those stores because people had trains, or you were getting baseball cards or comic books. It was like where you got all that stuff, or like D&D. But I feel like now with Amazon and like you can buy anything, it seems like anywhere. So just like crush those little stores.
Yeah.
That's a lot of it.
Yeah, we used to go in there. I mean, it was fun as a kid. I mean, usually I feel like those stores were more expensive than toy stores.
Yes, sure.
But you would just sit in there and be like, oh, man, like, look at that plane.
It was good specialty stuff, yeah. This one says, I miss going to the mall to shop. We still have one left, but it doesn't have all the cool stores that it did when I was a kid. I'll also, and they mentioned like Walden Books, KB Toys, the Disney Store,
But
Hallmark.
also, times change. Like, I would make that argument as well, except I'm not a kid anymore. And as a kid, the mall was more. I will give props to Alderwood Mall. That's a pretty solid mall. We'll drag the kids up there for clothes and all that. I was shocked by that, right? Just to hear a mall, and I'm like, that is the last freaking place I want to go. But we went about a year ago, get the kids clothes or something. But I was looking at my wife like, this place is pretty damn impressive.
Right.
And I'm in a mall. Yeah. I'm not bitching.
And like you're saying, though, malls were almost designed for the younger audience.
For sure.
You know, certainly way back in the day, they
had like department stores for the adults, and then damn near everything in between was like, look, go to the arcade or go to the toy store, go to the bookstore or the record store, but leave us alone and meet us back at this time.
Exactly.
That's what I was going to say. The mall was kind of free game, too. Right? Like, if my mom was going for a couple hours, like, I would go to KB Toys.
Absolutely.
Right? You'd go to, like...
You had no money, so they didn't care.
Right. You'd go to whatever that other store was.
Spencer's.
Had to look at the posters and the chicks in bikinis.
My daughter, she had never heard of Spencer's. I never thought about it. We were in Delaware last summer, and they have the outlet stores, so we're kind of walking around. She's like, what is Spencer's? What do they have? I said... I don't know how to explain it to you. Let's just walk in and see. And my kids thought it was the greatest store ever, but I did have to tell her, I know the hat, that knit hat looks like a panda bear in front, but on the back it says F-U, so no, we're not going to buy that.
That, and as a kid, like, going to the food court was just amazing.
Oh, it's awesome.
You get a taco, boardwalk fries, and a burger.
Exactly.
Not that I ever got that specific order.
Sounds random.
Right. Things people believe will soon vanish from society. Gathering pop bottles to get money at the corner stores.
Yep.
Are people still doing that?
There's only a few states that are worth 10 cents that are kind of worth it.
Mm-hmm.
This one says, I think we're going to move into a 4-day work week sooner rather than later, and guaranteed basic income is going to become a thing within 20 years.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know, man.
Good luck.
I like guaranteed basic income.
I think that's a great idea. I'm just saying, in the world of capitalism, it is up to a corporation to agree to that. They're not obliged to do it, and I find it unlikely that they would.
This one says reality shows. At some point, even the most vacuous parts of society are going to be sick of them, hopefully soon.
I don't think it'll ever go away. I really don't.
Because it's...
You can just find a different version of, you can have, there's Survivor or there's Naked and Afraid, or like... whatever version of the same reality show you want to see, it exists. Right? Well, and we're always intrigued by people. So if it's 1,000-pound sisters or something, right? Where you got to dig into that kind of, or My Little Life because you want to watch a family of dwarves. I mean, you can put anything on TV, call it reality, and someone will watch it.
Well, and I think most of the people that watch reality shows, like I'll put myself in there. I've watched reality shows a handful of times, but I watch them because I can't look away.
Right.
Because these people are just so messed up in their headspace and their life and their interactions with people. It's like they've got to crash this train.
But wouldn't something like Impractical Jokers also qualify as a reality show?
Would that qualify as a reality show?
It's not your standard one where you're just watching someone's quote unquote home life play out.
It could be on a reality TV channel. I could give you that.
Because it is. They're putting themselves in situations where the people that are around are not aware, that they're creating
this scenario. Right? Because technically, it's almost like sketch comedy, but it's not. You're right. People don't know they're part of the bit.
Exactly. So I feel like at that point, that's kind of reality TV.
They say engagement rings, especially the idea that it should be 3 times the man's monthly salary, which is just a campaign from De Beers, who shock and horror.
Yeah, I was going to say we didn't come up with that.
Sold diamonds.
De Beers.
De Beers. Yeah. Talking to real humans for customer service.
Let's look at famous people. If you think a big ring means serious, bigger commitment, like I'm just like I don't see it.
J-Lo just collects them.
Yeah, no kidding. Talking to real humans for customer service. I wouldn't be shocked at that one in the slightest. We're already going to kiosks for like fast food restaurants and whatnot. It is a matter of time before customer service is just, here's your stuff.
Yeah, and even AI.
Even then,
you probably have basic questions. What's the company now that intentionally puts you on hold for like
15 minutes?
What?
15 minutes, they put you on hold so you go to the website.
Because they said, 90% of their calls, and I understand their position, they said 90% of the calls we get is something you can fix on your own.
Sure.
Just go to our website. We have the info. So if you call, even if you're the first call there, you're going to wait at least 15 minutes. And they said the hope is that in the 15 minutes, they'll go onto the website, continue to try to fix their problem, and realize it's a 3-minute problem.
Conversely, when I've already gone to your website and I've looked through everything and I can't find anything, it is the most annoying thing on the planet. Most of the problems can be fixed if you go to our website. Like, I will punch the next person I talk to.
Like I've already been there.
Right. I'm not an idiot. I know what to do, okay? That's why I'm calling your ass.
I might be an idiot. Either way, I need your help.
But then this is the last thing that people believe will soon vanish from society. Okay. The skill of splitting and stacking wood by hand. When I was younger, we could make good money splitting local hardwoods and sending it to the larger cities for Christmas. Everyone wants the family gathered around the fire on Christmas Eve. We didn't have money for hydraulic splitters, so you had to read the grain of the wood and have technique. If you didn't learn to do it correctly, you could really hurt yourself, not to mention become exhausted.
Well, look, I hear what the guy's saying, but those are like most people can't make candles anymore either.
Right.
I mean, that's all.
I feel like, though, even if you have like a wood fire or whatever in your house, and you'll buy what do you call it, a cord of wood or whatever that's chopped up.
Yeah.
Like, you generally still got to chop it even smaller so you can fit it into whatever you're doing.
Right. Come on now.
Hydraulic splitter, huh?
Miles, why would a woman be arrested for filming a video inside of a local grocery store?
I know, and it's disturbing.
It is, and I'll tell you all about it at 5:50.
Vegas Star headlines are coming at 5:50. In the meantime, we made it to drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today's shot is brought to you by our friends at Black Raven Brewing, proud brewers of Men's Room IPA and the Men's Room 20th Anniversary Lager. And today, we toast 7-year-old Olivia Myers of Gloucester, Massachusetts. Now, Olivia, she became best friends with the neighbor's 11-year-old husky. That husky's name is Gunner. And she would play with the dog every day, but eventually young Olivia, she determined that was not enough. She wanted Gunner for herself, so she made plans to steal him. That's right, a 7-year-old girl is going to plan a dog napping. Now, after giving it some thought, she did come up with a plan, which she executed with precision. You see, what she did was she slipped off Gunner's blue collar and put that blue collar around the neck of a stuffed animal husky, and then left the stuffed animal husky, the replica, behind in place of said Gunner. That's right, she replaced Gunner with a stuffed replica, hoping the neighbor wouldn't notice. But two things went wrong. One, all of this was caught on the neighbor's Ring doorbell, and she watched the whole thing unfold real time and let her do her thing. Also, the neighbor's not an idiot and knew the difference between a stuffed dog. So as the neighbor put it, she said, look, I watched this whole thing go down. This little girl loves my dog. I let her have her for like 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll sneak her home before I went over to retrieve my dog. But it's all good. No charges being pressed. Damn. I just like the idea of, I'm going to put this stuffed dog here, and hopefully she'll never notice. I'm a genius.
That's such a kid thing.
It really is. But I like her thinking, like, she'll never figure it out. So we pour this booze, and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tunnies. Down the hola bichola.
Let's get a contestant on the line now for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK. Profile This is next.
The brand new Grand Casino and Shoreline is now open. Step into the action with Vegas-style table games like Baccarat, Heads Up Hold'em Poker, Pai Gow, Blackjack, and High Card Flush. Feeling hungry? Feast on delicious Chinese, Vietnamese, and continental dishes, plus breakfast favorites. Dine in or take out. And don't miss daily happy hours from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. to midnight. Grand Casino and Shoreline off Aurora. Open daily from 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. Visit GrandCasinoGaming.com. Welcome to the Grand Experience.
This podcast is brought to you by Kleenex Lotion Tissues. You can't predict sick days, but with Kleenex Lotion Tissues, you can be better prepared for them while helping keep your skin healthy. Whether it's a surprise sneeze or a stuffy nose, it's always good to have something gentle on hand. Kleenex Lotion Tissues moisturize to help prevent skin irritation while you're battling those unwanted cold and flu symptoms. It's extra care when you need it most. I mean, why not have one less thing to worry about when you're not feeling your best? For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex.
Is your team at work feeling a little disconnected? Maybe the workflow's not flowing? Try Confluence by Atlassian. Confluence is the connected workspace where teams can create, organize, and deliver work like never before. In Confluence, teams can whiteboard their vision for any project, easily create or access the relevant pages and resources they need, and discover important context they might not even know they need. Plus, AI helps teams jumpstart brainstorms, organize information, and connect workflows, so teams can move efficiently and create alignment with ease. In fact, with Confluence, teams can see 5.2% average boost in productivity in 1 year. So if your team lacks confidence, try Confluence. the connected workspace where teams can do it all. Set knowledge free with Confluence. Learn more at Atlassian.com/Confluence. That's Atlassian.com/CONFLUENCE.
So I used Gemini for the first time the other day, and the most impressive thing to me was just talking to it. You go live with it, and then it's just like you're having a conversation. You can just talk about your day or have it explain something to you or start brainstorming ideas. Let me give you an example. I pretended I have a job interview coming up and asked it to help me prep for the interview. It immediately started suggesting common questions I might get asked. Then I started talking through my answers out loud, and it would give me feedback. And it's all happening in real time, like I'm talking to a career coach or something. That's just what I tried first, but you can talk to it about anything. And I honestly think that's the magic of it, how you can just have this back and forth, and it's all seamless. If you haven't tried it yet, it's definitely worth checking out. You'll see what I mean.
Auto insurance rates are on the rise, which is why you should call Vern Fonk Insurance. Vern Fonk could save you up to 20% on your auto insurance. The pros at Vern Fonk will do all the work, comparing different plans to find you the best options. And they can insure you over the phone. One call to Vern Fonk could save you up to 20%. Call 206-408-5094. 206-408-5094.
Remember to honk when you drive by Vern Fonk.
Restrictions apply based on a Q3 2023 study of Vern Fonk Insurance customers who reported saving when they switched. License number 1070622.
I recently found out that you can see a personal dietitian covered by insurance. There's this platform called Nourish that will match you with a dietitian based on whatever your concerns are, whether that's weight loss, eating disorders, autoimmune conditions, or something else. They're actually a network with major insurance providers, so most patients pay $0 out of pocket. 94% of patients pay $0 out of pocket. Find your dietitian at usenourish.com. That's usenourish.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What if comparing car insurance rates was as easy as putting on your favorite podcast? With Progressive, it is. Just visit the Progressive website to quote with all the coverages you want. You'll see Progressive's direct rate, then their tool will provide options from other companies so you can compare. All you need to do is choose the rate and coverage you like. Quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Ready to explore Europe the striped way? Fly Condor Airlines nonstop to Frankfurt and connect effortlessly to most European destinations. Relax and start your vacation in comfort. Fly the striped way. Visit condor.com today and book your next adventure.
Are you a bartender that dreads the phrase, hey, can you put the game on? At Sports on What, we understand your pain and we're here to help. Over-the-air, satellite, cable, or streaming, Sports on What knows what channel the game is on, and you can too. Follow your favorite teams, set alerts, and filter by provider to get the results you need. Stop wasting time searching and never miss kickoff again. Just download the Sports on What app, and you'll always know how to watch the game. Available for Android and iOS. Start your 7-day free trial when you download Sports on What and subscribe today.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. You three gentlemen will be competing today, and I offer you 3 categories. Today we have the wonderful world of drugs. We have Animalize This, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem. And finally, License to Spill, where you guess the substance that made the mess.
Oh, let's go back to Animalize This.
Firefighters in Madrid, Spain, they came to the rescue of an animal that somehow ended up stranded on the ledge of a building on the 5th floor of an apartment building. Now, firefighters responded to the building and discovered the animal was on the ledge outside of a closed window, which led to a vacant apartment. Now, the animal's origins and how it came to be stranded on the ledge, they were a mystery, but firefighters used treats to lure it to an already nearby balcony window where they were able to get control of it. Now, the animal was turned over to the Madrid Emergency Veterinary Service for care while authorities try to locate the animal's owner. Now, the question is, what was the animal that was inexplicably on the 5th-story ledge of a building? Was it a monkey, Was it a cat? Was it a dog? Or was it a goat? So monkey, cat, dog, or goat, which one of these four animals was stranded on the ledge of a building?
I don't think a dog's got that skill. Goat, cat, and monkey do. So they can all get up there. And this is in Spain.
Yes.
I'll go monkey, Ted.
I mean, I kind of want it to be a goat because it's more fun.
I know they could get up there.
But I don't know. He specifically said they lured it with treats.
Yes.
That makes me think it's a dog.
A dog. Okay. Mike?
I think you guys are all missing the ball on this one. I think it's a goat all day.
Goat all day.
Inexplicably up there on that fifth floor.
Fifth
Can't
floor,
get back down.
Hanging out in an apartment building. Was it a monkey, cat, dog, or goat? We'll find out next.
That was a tease.
You are listening to The Men's Room.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Slow drain being a pain? Call Pinky. That pipe's being a little leaky? Call Pinky. When the toilet won't flush and you're in a rush? Call Pinky. When your shower lost all its spray power? Call Pinky. When your sink's on the blink? Call Pinky. Pinky's Plumbing promises to lick all your plumbing problems quick. So when your plumbing backs up and things get stinky, call Pinky's. Pinky'sPlumbing.com.
Hiring is a lonely business. Posting jobs, sifting through resumes, interviews with unqualified applicants, being ghosted. What if you could link with dozens of qualified candidates who are ready to work right now with just one connection? That's Express Employment Professionals. Find us at expresspros.com. One connection, the workforce you need. Problem solved. Express Employment Professionals. expresspros.com.
Where'd you get those shoes? Easy. They're from DSW. Because DSW has the exact right shoes for whatever you're into right now. You know, like the sneakers that make office hours feel like happy hour. The boots that turn grocery aisles into runways. And all the styles that show off the many sides of you, from daydreamer to multitasker and everything in between. Because you do it all in really great shoes. Find a shoe for every you at your DSW store or DSW.com.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Categories analyze this on Profile This. To Spain we go, where an animal was stranded somehow on the fifth floor of an apartment building.
Yeah.
They tried to lure it down with treats. I guess eventually the thing came down. Question is, was it a monkey, a cat, a dog, or a goat?
And that is the question that I posed to you, gentlemen. And let us start with D. Ted Smith. You went with, the dog.
The dog. You lured him with treats.
Not a dog. Miles Montgomery, you went with a monkey.
Wow. What?
And Mike, you said, man, you guys are missing it. It's got to be a goat.
Come on. I am not shocked. I am not shocked.
And they're great climbers.
They are fantastic climbers.
Now for all TV news all time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, your choices today, you got the Jimmys,
Fallon and Kibble,
Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert, Tomlinson,
Taylor,
or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It is right through the title. These guys have teams of talented writers helping them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or can it be a The Ted Smith original?
DC Studios just announced they're working on 2 new Batman movies. In the next movie, the Batmobile goes up to a Cybertruck and asks, "Who did this to you?"
Fallon.
Colbert.
It's Fallon.
DC Studios just announced that they're working on 2 new Batman movies. Yeah, in the next movie, the Batmobile goes up to a Cybertruck like, "Who did this to you?"
A woman was arrested after she got caught filling up her ex-boyfriend's gas tank with Coke Zero and pre-sucked Skittles, which is odd, because the way she originally met her ex was pre-sucked Skittles.
The Ted Smith.
I hope it's you.
Yeah, that's it. She got a skill set there.
Yeah.
Usually I only suck on the sour ones.
Yeah, great.
Get that sour taste, and then you chew them. Hooters is preparing to declare bankruptcy. Be sure to do a wellness check on your uncle today. It doesn't make sense because Hooters is actually the one restaurant that benefits from inflation.
Kibble.
Colbert.
Thomason.
Hooters is preparing to declare bankruptcy. Be sure to do a wellness check on your uncle today. It doesn't make sense because Hooters is usually the one restaurant that benefits from inflation. But
for the first time in 50 years, the New York Yankees are allowing their players to grow well-groomed beards. If it doesn't get people fired up about baseball, I don't know what will.
Fallon.
For the first time in nearly 50 years, the New York Yankees are now allowing players to grow well-groomed beards. Man, if this doesn't get people fired up about baseball, I don't know what will.
The funny thing about that Hooters thing is I found out today there's two, versions of Hooters. Mm-hmm. There's, the original one in Clearwater, and then there's other. So basically, if you live in Florida or Chicago area, your Hooters are fine. They're with the original.
Hear that, ladies?
Mm-hmm. Fine Hooters.
Right. And this often happens with restaurants, right? And then there's another LLC out of Georgia, which is all the franchisees. So I guess those are the ones that are in trouble, but the ones owned by the original LLC in Clearwater are still thriving, which also makes sense. I remember the first time I went to Chicago, my brother and I swear to God, we weren't planning on it. We were just kind of walking around. We didn't know where to go. So we went to a Hooters. And it was
Why
great.
not? Because you know what you're going to get.
Correct.
Right.
And then it just turned into a thing where almost every trip we took, we could find a Hooters. We would just go. Yeah. All right, let's see. Jon Stewart, remember, he's still hosting the Daily Show on Monday nights. Mm-hmm. So they're saying this is kind of like in Django Unchained, right? There's a scene where Leonardo DiCaprio slams his hand so hard on the table, breaks glass, ends up with a bleeding hand.
Right.
Unplanned accident. He kept going with the scene without breaking character, so Tarantino left it in the movie. So last night, something similar happened to Jon Stewart. He's getting in a heated monologue of prescription drug prices, slams his mug. You could tell something wasn't right. So this is kind of both clips together of you could hear the audience react when he does it, and then you could hear the audience react again when he finally pulls up his hand and it's bleeding.
Because we've already paid for it with our subsidies. Come on! I'll be going to the hospital soon. It's fine.
So he just kind of kept his hand underneath the desk. I watched the whole clip. And then later he comes back and there's like a big bandage on his finger. That's like, but you could just see the blood dripping. That's like, yeah, it's fine.
It's not good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, it's not shocking that happened. Right? You got a coffee mug, you just slam it on a desk, like something's bound to get cut or break on you. This is kind of interesting. It's just a list of the highest average ticket price for every major sport, right? Now, basically, they're going to tell you what was the most expensive for every major sport out there, right? So, Major League Soccer, $690 for Messi versus Inter Milan.
Okay. All right, makes sense.
Or Inter Miami, right? In Los Angeles, right? It was LAFC. It's Messi. That makes sense, right? And that was in 2023. All right. Last year, 2024, for the NHL, it was $2,100 to get in to see the Rangers play the Panthers.
Damn. Stanley Cup.
Playoff game.
It was just a playoff.
Correct. Wasn't even Stanley Cup. Let's see. Major League Baseball, we got to go back to 2016 for the most expensive ticket.
Yankees, Red Sox.
Well, think about VD. Those people
Cubs.
Yeah. Game 7. It was almost $3,000 to get in there to watch the Cubs eventually beat the Indians. Or what are they now? The Guardians.
Guardians, yeah.
To see that. 2024 for the NBA. Games or NBA Finals, Game 5, Celtics, Mavs, about $2,200.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's still so much cheaper than the Super Bowl, man.
Oh, we'll get there. WNBA, it was $335 to see.
Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese, Part 4.
Oh, yeah.
Because now they were in the league.
I just knew it had to be one of those games.
Well, look, so there's a lot of stuff now. Angel Reese got very popular, right? Mainly, she is a good basketball player, right? You know, her brother still plays for Maryland. And she started at Maryland. She's a Baltimore girl.
And what, Georgia Tech? Is that what she meant?
She went down to LSU, and they won that title, and she got famous for, I think was taunting Clark back, who had done it all year. And then it turned into this whole thing. So now they're both in the WNBA, and it's like, I see a lot of people really getting on Angel Reese now as her jumper isn't as clean as Clark's, but it's like, Caitlin Clark is
she's a phenom.
Serious talent. So it's like I don't think it makes Angel Reese any
no
less better, but it's like they basically they both helped each other. I think bring that stage up.
They absolutely did. Rivalry helps.
Now college basketball, women's. It's funny. It was more expensive to go see your player last home game at Iowa.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah, I remember I think it was right. It was last year.
But she's also the all-time leading scorer in NCAA basketball history.
Yes,
in the women's game.
Yeah, so that's
college basketball. The most expensive ticket was back in 2022, $5,300 to go see Coach K's final home game at Duke.
Also, all fairness aside, their gymnasium holds 40 people.
Cameron Indoor Stadium is tiny, dude. So you're
Gonzaga
right.
looks like an arena compared to that.
It is, which I think is kind of cool. They still play there, but also, the kids are right on the court. You can't get a ton of people in there. I mean, you compare that to like the Dean Dome, just up the road in North Carolina. Yeah. So, let's see, college football. This year's national championship was almost $2,700,
and a terrible game.
Yeah. Now, NFL non-Super Bowl, the most expensive ticket was this year divisional game Commanders and Lions. It was almost $1,000
in Detroit.
Oh, God,
in Detroit.
Yeah,
you don't expect to hear the most expensive ticket in Detroit.
Look, and I was right there with him. I thought Detroit has a clean shot, at least to compete for the Super Bowl. And Washington went in there and beat their ass.
The Commanders
they dismantled them.
It was unbelievable.
And I don't think anybody saw it. You might say the Commanders could win, but you're like by 3. That was an ass whipping.
And then this happens every year, but NFL 2024, the Chiefs and Niners, $12,000 to get into that Super Bowl.
$12,000?
$12,000.
Thousand. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
Wow.
They just print money, man.
Wow.
Well, the other problem is that they will give a select amount of tickets to the teams going, but there's just so many corporations.
Oh, yeah, they buy them all up.
Buy them all up and everything. It's almost impossible to get in there. And I want to say even I'm pretty sure Major League Baseball, the NBA, there's a couple sports where it's like they have so much corporate sponsorship to I don't really need you in the stadium.
No,
it's good for the atmosphere and this and that, but it's like...
Yeah, they made their money.
Yeah. So till we got our tickets for the Super Bowl on the computer, jumped on, got them through a secondary ticket broker. And I swear to you, to go in that, you had to go in a room, in a hotel, and get your stuff, get your packet, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like crossing the border. It was like coming back through, from a foreign country and going through customs just to be able to hand you that ticket because you paid that much money for it. And it's like,
I imagine.
We need to know.
We need to verify who you were.
This is you. All right, take their pants down. Full check. Right? Make sure you're the guy. It was pretty intense. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, and that's just before everything starts showing up on your phone.
Right.
Okay.
Now, I still, F1 was smooth, the one I went to one in Vegas.
Yeah.
Because it was just on your phone, and I told you, they're metal detectors. You don't have to take anything out of your pocket. You just walk through. Mm-hmm. But I do kind of wish I had a physical ticket that said, stub that said, hey, I've been there.
I saw my Super Bowl ticket stub. And I told you it's awesome. I don't do anything with it, but every once in a while you just look at it. You kind of get the memory. But to my kids, they're like, "What is that? Is that a program?" I'm like, "That's a thing called a ticket stub." Because their world, everything's on the phone. They're like, "What?" So I have a box full of old concerts and all that kind of thing. And it blows their mind. They're like,
the only ticket stubs I have are from the last few months. They're both at Climate Pledge, right? So one was the Trans-Siberian Orchestra,
right?
But I was doing the stage announcement,
right?
And then the other one was because my buddy Chad hooked us up with those good tickets to go see, because we got them from Shane Gillis. So same thing,
right.
But those are the only 2 paper tickets I've had in years. Just because it was you got to go somewhere else inside the arena.
I mean, to me, that should be part of the cost of the ticket. Give me the ticket.
Or
that's my one moment. Yeah. You can't guarantee that you're going to be able to afford T-shirts or whatever merchandise might be sold at any event, but the ticket stub matters.
It's almost like paying a bill. Do you want it electronically, or do you want the paper version sent to your house, or do you want both? Here's the deal. If I get this thing digitally, which I will, then the ticket that you give me paper is nothing more than a souvenir in the paper it's printed on. It does not work.
Right.
It does not scan in. It is just like the certificate that you get, when you buy an authentic item or whatever the deal is. It's just for the memento.
Well, it seems like a lot of places, too, nowadays, and I'm just parroting what you just said, right? You want to print the receipt or email the receipt? You go, email the receipt. But, you could still print it if you want to. Like seems like you could do that with a ticket.
Right, just
like I have the ticket, but just like no, just I want to print out, or I want the
printed version too. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It would be worthless and not work.
I mean, it's not going to scan in. It's just something that you have as a remembrance of the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, if you go to enough shows, sometimes like I just forget. I'm like, oh damn, I was at that concert.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why I want the damn. Yes,
like,
that's exactly why
right.
I want the stub. Because I've collected them my whole life up until now.
I should start asking people, what is my problem? Bars, I guess. Do you have a memento, like a coaster or something I can take so that Ted doesn't have to tell me that I have been there?
Well, dude, it used to be matchbooks.
You know what? That's
my
a good
mom
call,
collected matchbooks forever, and it was kind of fun to go through them and see like what restaurant she had been to or whatever.
Well, I mean, especially if your parents went on a trip or something.
Yeah.
And like, you guys stopped in so-and-so, Arizona? Yeah, and they had a story, you know?
Oh, my grandmother's got a whole drawer of matchsticks. So last time I was at her place, my lighter ran out. I go in there. The matches I used were 55 years old.
Mm-hmm.
They still work fine. I used the whole book of matches.
Yeah, I would say I kind of do it with koozies.
Yeah.
Because it's usually a cheaper item. You can buy
$5 to $10, maybe.
Yeah, they might be even 15, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I have a ton of koozies, but also it's fun to look because people are like, where'd you get this one? Like, I did it the other day. I have a second or 2A cowboy one, but it's from like New Mexico. And I looked at my buddy, I go, I don't know where the hell this one came from. I've never been to New Mexico. So, it's a strange one. Yeah. But some of them take you back, and then that's something you do with your cooler, right? If you put stickers on there, wherever my cooler is, it's letting people know, like, first, I've been around.
Yeah.
I've been here. I've been there. Have you been there?
Been everywhere.
Yeah. This cooler's been everywhere, man. And also, it's a nice, used to be a Yeti. But, just lets people know, Miles, I'm important.
Right. I've traveled. Well traveled. Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Red Panda escapes from the zoo, then heads to the local hospital to get a checkup. Meanwhile, 3 men are stabbed in an all-night sex party, just in case you like it rough. A woman is arrested for peeing on groceries, had videos of her doing it going back 4 years. If you're sitting next to a dead body on an airplane, surely they'll at least give you some free beers. And a missing high school graduation ring turns up 45 years later. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
All right, our top story. We got to New Hampshire, where a young woman's film career has met an abrupt end. Yeah. An anonymous Samaritan contacted authorities with a tip that the woman had uploaded a video that she had filmed onto an internet site featuring her tampering with groceries at a local grocery store. Police investigated and found their lead to be true as they turned up the video featuring the woman urinating on several products around the store. But it was far from her first time. You see, along with the damning evidence, they uncovered a stash of videos that had been uploaded, oh yes, dating back as long as 4 years from several stores and shops around the area. She was arrested and faces several charges.
Why would she upload it to a website?
I think there's people that like those videos.
But also, couldn't you just do it at home? Like, why go to the store and do it there?
It's dangerous.
Danger, man.
All right.
That's the fun of it.
You ever peed on produce at a grocery store? No. Well, I can't answer that
Do
for
you know that?
I don't know that. Do you feel the danger of it, though?
You're right. It would be a thrill.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Walking through the produce section, they missed them all the doggone time. Well, sometimes I got to go. In other news.
That's a strange one.
That is very odd.
I could imagine doing it in bulk foods in those big barrels.
Oh, come on, man. Don't ruin the bulk.
Oh, like quinoa or something?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Just try to hydrate these beans. That's last time I was allowed in Whole Foods.
In other news, more fun with the airlines. A couple aren't exactly dying to use Qatar Airlines anytime soon. See what I did there? They were on a flight from Melbourne to Venice to start a lovely vacation between the two of them when suddenly a woman exited the plane bathroom and quickly collapsed onto the floor. Crews did their best to revive the woman, but she ultimately passed due to whatever issues that she was suffering from. Now left with many options of what to do next, their eyes drew upon our happy vacationing couple. Mainly the 2 empty seats next to them in the 4-seat row. And they asked if they could scooch over just a little bit. They obliged, and the wife was relocated to an empty seat in another row because she was disturbed. But the husband was unfortunately forced to spend the remainder of the flight next to the recently deceased passenger.
And did you read, like, they wanted to move her further up in the plane? I guess there's a place you can put them, but this particular woman that dropped dead was, we'll say, a rotund carriage. Indeed.
Okay.
They could not move her big ass.
No, they could not.
That was the long and short of it. They're like, dude, we're not trying to put her here. But when you talk dead weight, quite literally. And even when she was alive, she was heavy. So they put this big, giant, dead woman next to him.
What's more is that he was instructed by crews to remain in his seat. So his wife was able to move to an open seat. And they said, no, man, you need to hang there, sit there. Even as they drew sheets off of the departed passenger for emergency crews upon landing. He just sat there, was a part of all that. The couple went to the media with their story and say that they still have not received any kind of compensation from the airline for the traumatic experience. However, Qatar Airlines released a statement saying that they were in the process of contacting all the affected passengers. Well, not the one that you sat next to a corpse.
Would you feel better if the dead person, I would almost feel better if they weren't covered in sheets.
Why?
I understand.
Man, I don't want to look at that the entire flight.
It's not that I don't want to look at the entire flight, but I can convince myself
they're just sleeping.
Why would they look like they're like? I know they're dead, but I'm looking at them. They probably don't look dead, not that quick. But when you throw the giant ass sheet over it, it's like there's no question about what is next to me.
Okay. Also, know what you, Steve? You would not have sat next to that dead body the entire flight. Somebody's moving.
Yeah.
Get me out of this doggone row, man.
I want beer.
Hell yes.
Like every drink is free, and when I ask for one, I want it delivered.
Damn right.
Because this big fat dead person is sitting next to me, man.
When engaging in a sex party, one doesn't really see violence coming in the near future, which is exactly what happened at a party in London. Police were called to a mansion that has a seedy history of lewd and lascivious behavior on reports of an all-out brawl that broke out. Folks invited to the party were engaging in some guilt-free sexual exploits, with some looking to up the ante, and brought some drugs to the party. Which is, this is where the argument is believed to have started, with something regarding the drugs that were brought and the dealers involved, such and such. We don't know. But what ultimately ended up happening is a fight broke out amongst the group, with one combatant arming himself with a knife and stabbing several people at the party. Don't know why, but that's how he shut it down. All were taken to the hospital, but with injuries that were not believed to be life-threatening. Charges were handed out accordingly. There's a messed up party right there. But just in case those stories with the bad taste in your mouth.
Thankfully, there's good news.
We go to Missouri, where a precious item was found. A local man was tending his garden when he happened upon something shiny in the soil. He uncovered and cleared it to review that it was actually a class ring for Omaha Northwest High School, class of 1978, along with the name Carrie Crocker inscribed on the inside of the ring. Wanting only to do the right thing, he contacted the school, which ultimately yielded no results. But when the story hit the news, the rightful owner caught sight of the thing that he had lost a long time ago. He now lives in Florida and was happy to be reunited with his ring. How it got from Omaha to Missouri, he's not positive, but he believes that the ring must have fallen into some of the soil that was at his parents' flower shop that he was working at the time.
Your fingers get fatter as you get older. You guys get that resized.
Get that resized right there. Can't be wearing those no more. Men's Room Sports are brought to you by the fine folks at Sports on What. You've got college and NBA basketball on tonight, as well as the Kraken. They're in action tonight against the St. Louis Blues. Fun fact, the KC Mavericks have a play-by-play announcer that was down there, and he finally got his big break. He has moved up to doing play-by-play for the NHL, and his first game is tonight, as he's moved up to the St. Louis Blues play-by-play announcer, so he is currently announcing against the Kraken over there in St. Louis.
And you said that KC team is like a farm team for the Kraken.
So the way that I believe it to go is that you have the Kraken, which is kind of your top dog NHL team. Below them, you have the Coachella Valley Firebirds, and then you have the KC Mavericks, which I believe are the next level down. If not, they're an adjacent team. So they're another one of our four teams.
So his first big game he's going to call is against essentially the mothership of the team he had been calling.
Correct. As far as your weather, it's getting a little chilly tonight, but it'll be dry. We're expecting an overcast sky with a low of 39 tonight. Tomorrow, we can expect partly cloudy skies and a high of 60 degrees. We broke 60, boys, and that's it for headlines with that. Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you next time for the return of Who Sucks Less. The lovely Jolene is up next.
Yes, indeed. It's all true, but in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch. So until next time, please do what you do best, and for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
Yeah, sure thing. Hey, you sold that car yet?
Yeah, sold it to Carvana.
Oh, I thought you were selling to that guy.
The guy who wanted to pay me in foreign currency, no interest, over 36 months? Yeah, no. Carvana gave me an offer in minutes, picked it up, and paid me on the spot. It was so convenient.
Just like that.
Yeah?
No hassle.
None.
That is super convenient. Sell your car to Carvana and swap hassle for convenience. Pickup fees may apply.
Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
So I actually tried Gemini a couple days ago, the Gemini Live where you can talk to it, and it is really crazy to have a full-on conversation with this thing. I was just messing around, so I asked it to give me ideas for hosting during the holidays. And when it starts giving you results, you can just stop it and say, okay, but what about something low-key for a smaller group? And then it adjusts to that, and you can just keep going until you get an idea you want. I think that's what I would use it for the most, brainstorming stuff. It's so good if you don't know where to start or if you hit a wall, you just go to Gemini. It helps you get the ball rolling. But obviously you can use it for all kinds of stuff. If you want to learn something new, you can have it give you advice, ask it to explain Bitcoin in simple terms, or you can have it quiz you on microbiology. I mean, imagine being a student and you've got this personal tutor on hand. It's hard to explain. You really just have to play around with it, see how it listens to you, responds, adapts to your style of conversation. Just try it out. It's free.
Auto insurance rates are on the rise, which is why you should call Vern Fonk Insurance. Vern Fonk could save you up to 20% on your auto insurance. The pros at Vern Fonk will do all the work, comparing different plans to find you the best options. And they can insure you over the phone. One call to Vern Fonk could save you up to 20%. Call 206-408-5094. 206-408-5094.
Remember to honk when you drive by Vern Fonk.
Restrictions apply based on a Q3 2023 study of Vern Fonk insurance customers who reported saving when they switched. License number 10706.